The new stream is up now.
What, there's a new one?
Yeah, we can continue. Man.
All right, people.
Sorry about that.
Yes, apologies.
I feel we should just move on, to be honest.
The people tried to get us, man. Yes. So anyway, we're back, man. We got two more dilemmas, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the others, please.
All right, this one's a long one, guys. So
So wait, how many people's in there?
11?
do you want to wait?
Yeah, let's wait.
No, because this is a very long one, and I ain't starting again.
Yeah.
Let's give them a while to pull back up.
All right, cool. You can be on your phones for a little while.
So okay, you know what? Yeah, let's discuss. How do I put this? The outsells, yeah. But these people, yeah. Why do you think, like, any mention of it? So what if someone made a video about how being an outsellian is
Being a what? Sorry, that's too funny.
like is a bad thing? Would that stream pop down as well?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
So you feel like AI or whoever's monitoring these videos is listening and saying, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it picks up on certain words, followed by certain words. And then they will go, pew, let's stop that immediately.
But nothing that was said was propping up the outsells.
They said you were lacking empathy. Who are they talking about? You?
Probably
Gina?
me.
To be fair, someone said that, yeah.
Yeah.
They said, because you called them pathetic or something.
Yeah. You know what it is? I hear it, but I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to take it back because I'm very much a firm, I said what I said kind of person. So, but I hear it. It wasn't nice. I think it's more. Do you know what it is for me? Yeah? I just think it's just too extreme.
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I mean? And so when I think about it, I'm like, it's such a childish. Like, I'd expect that from a 5-year-old. Do you get what I mean? So that's why I'm just like, at your grown age.
Do you think, this is not me saying anything crazy to you, but do you feel like because you think it's so crazy, and wayward and beneath a rational thinking human being, that maybe we need to look into it more? Because why is it capturing the people this way?
No, I think
You get what I'm saying?
I think the fact that it's a thing, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Because it's a thing, most definitely. But I'm just like, I guess for me, it's like it's giving 1 + 1 = 5 trillion. It's like it's that far fetched for me. So I'm just like, how did you get there?
Okay.
So maybe I should be a bit more empathetic to figure out how you got there. But at first glance,
Well,
it ain't making sense.
Black Tate says, if a guy is lacking self-esteem and is internalizing it, how do we put him back into a normal state of mind? By shaming him.
So how's he internalizing it? By saying that he hates women and like...
Are we talking hypothetically here? Because this guy who gave us the dilemma...
No, I'm not talking about that. Yeah, I think he's saying... Because again, if I didn't say that guy was... The person who called in about the dilemma, I didn't shame him. I even said that I felt like... I don't understand why he's even gone to that extreme to calling himself that, because I'm reading that as you're just a single man. Do you get what I mean?
Exactly. That's basically what I'm trying to say, because I'm trying to see where... I hear what people in the chat are saying, but remember, we're not saying this to the real person who wrote this.
I think
No
maybe
one's
it's
views were
because
that.
I feel like people who are like that are based on what I said. However...
That's like being
My
a
stance.
Trump supporter and people just assume they're one way, innit?
You will not get your foot off his neck.
Oh, him.
No, but you know, that ties
Brother
into,
Mizan.
that ties
Yes,
into
it
Joshua's
does.
point.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? Like, you just hear a particular tag, it outsell, you know what I'm saying? Or Trumpian. And then you just think everyone has the same damn view. But it's not accurate, man. Yeah.
People should be able to love Trump in peace, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's true, man. Everyone needs to be able to live and die by their decisions, man. It's that simple. We all grown. But yeah, but to the guy who actually wrote in the dilemma, yeah, I guess everyone's very much saying, don't see yourself in that way, innit? Because like you're nothing like them. Just because you wanna, have sex, but you can't at the moment, doesn't mean you're like them. Don't see yourself as one of those maniacs.
That's why for me it's like, what made you go with that verse? And is it because there's things that you're missing out that because you've already clearly stated that you don't have misogynistic views, you don't hate women, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So why do you want to not why do you want to be them so bad, but like
maybe he just wants what's the word?
And then he's asked to seek help. Seek help about what?
Yeah, but I think maybe what's the word I'm looking for? He just wants some assurances that he's not on that path, innit?
Yeah.
And I guess everyone's saying to you, you're not on that path just because you want to have sex, but you can't necessarily because your type doesn't really like you at the moment. Remember, it's just a period in your life,
you know
innit?
what? Oh,
you're
he
not
didn't
like
even
them.
give his age.
Yeah, he's probably very young though. But yeah, you're nothing like that, man.
You can start the element now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Alright, cool.
Christy's comment just killed me.
What she say?
She said, "What have I missed? I was in the gym fighting racism."
Alright, cool. This is a long one, guys. So, guys, please pay attention because if you ask me to repeat it, I'll be emotionally downcast. So, I'm a 36-year-old Nigerian British woman. I grew up in London and live in Essex. Now, I grew up in a home where both Islam and Christianity were practiced. In my teen years, I chose to follow Christianity. In the last 5 years or so, I've been exploring my Yoruba heritage and identity even more.
Big up.
I've been learning Yoruba and I really leaned into understanding culture, practices, history, and the heritage I've come from. Wow. Colonization done a number on us. It's ingrained into everything. Yoruba is such a beautiful, poetic language, but it is dying. Since the age of 14, up until about 3 years ago, I was so active in church, in the choir, trustee, elder, youth, and children's work, Bible studies, mentoring, prayer groups, you name it, I was there, in it and loving it. However, due to years and years of church hurt and life experiences, I examined and questioned church and my faith, especially from the lens of colonization. Don't get me wrong, I believe utmost in God. That is not in question. I'm just unsure where my faith falls. I've thought about the roots of history and writings of Christianity, the Bible, and it's so much whitewashing and cultural erasure and blind shaming that when you explore and reason with it, it does not sit right with me. But there are still many principles that I hold dear and believe in. I struggle with the demonizing of cultural practices that were just a way of life. Many of these practices have been demonized and called witchcraft because the white colonizers did not like it, which is written all over the world's history. Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and more. For example, burning sage. I don't do it, but when you look up sage scientifically, burning it has many medicinal properties. We are wary of rituals, but the church is full of them. Remember, Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. We talk about worthy is the lamb, sacrifices all over the place. Why is it okay for us to learn about Greek mythology, but not Yoruba mythology? Why are the days of the week, months, constellations, planets all named after Greek gods? Greek mythology is a spirituality system. They are referred to as gods. Did you know that African mythology has its own names and ways to describe the skies? Such beautiful and amazing stories. I conflate history and religion as I believe that they are very much interlinked, and this provides an understanding to many of the things we are understanding and function in today. Is the Bible not also a history book? Have you read or heard about Ajayi, a slave boy who was kidnapped and was baptized as Samuel Ajayi, who translated the Bible into Yoruba? He was punished to use Isu as the translated word for the devil. This has had lasting impacts of the way Yoruba people have practiced our spirituality. I've explored Yoruba spiritualism. Initially, I was worried that I was reading about witchcraft, but I quickly came to realize that witchcraft and Yoruba spirituality are miles apart. I feel hurt by this, but we are led to believe that Yoruba spiritualism is the devil's work. I believe that the devil is busy and active, but this is not it. Like with many cultures and religions, people do evil things, but why is it solely pushed with Yoruba spirituality? Look at the people that claim Jesus now: murderers, abuse, hate, destruction, and those that stand by. I've learned so much about science, technology, the skies, nature, and much more through my readings. I feel like I have so many questions, thoughts that I can ask, share, and explore. But I've written so much. Sorry. I pray. I love gospel music. I love going on walks, looking out in the horizon, praying and thanking God. But I don't know who I'm praying to. Maybe I do not need to define it. But I know that the way I see religion and faith has forever changed. I'm wondering, Eman, so this is for you, How do you see your faith? I feel that you are often shut down when you try to explain, and I would like to know more. I understand that this can be... Now, do you know this is hilarious? Because someone called you what? A religious prostitute earlier.
Yeah, imagine spiritual prostitution.
I understand that this can be a very controversial topic, and a lot of Christians talk about reading the Bible and reading around, this is what I have done, and this is where I've been led. P.S. I don't hate the church, and I'm not involved in any cults or cultish behaviours. I just wonder if people really knew our history and what they would believe.
Thank you for your testimony.
Powerful, man.
So, Brother Emmanuel.
I don't even know where to start.
You can
man.
start with
No shit.
You can start with.
Do you know what the crazy thing is?
I
I don't even know what Yoruba spiritualism is.
Emmanuel's going to tell you. Don't worry.
So this one really is for you.
Yeah. Do you feel shut down?
I don't think so. No. But again, my brain doesn't really think in that sort of way. I don't think there's anything I want to say that I can't say in it. So I wouldn't say I feel shut down. I guess a lot of the time I choose to not say certain things. Like even now, like for example, I wouldn't necessarily share the intricacies of my belief system because I don't.
But this is what I think happened.
Yeah.
I asked him to share, and he said,
No.
I don't actually want to.
I will share certain things that I think are relevant and are practical or whatever. Like everyone knows certain things that I believe in it. But the reason why is because of what we demonstrated this week. Because as soon as you hear people's belief systems, you draw up lines. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do anything that further facilitates division.
Yeah, because you dabble with it, you don't explain properly. People make their own mind up of you, so they know that, like, or they don't know, but because of some of your teachings, they could think that you could be like praying to that Jehovah on Monday, and then Allah on Friday, and for all they know, it might be like Odin on Sunday. You get what I'm saying? They don't know.
But you know what the thing is though, yeah.
He wears many hats.
There you go. But you know what the thing is? I think for me, like Mark said it perfectly. For me, I just prioritize black activism. I prioritize what's going to liberate black people. And I know, I know that when you discuss religion and you pick a side and say, I'm standing on this, typically what happens is you immediately shut certain people out. I'm not interested in doing any of that. This is why I say personally, my personal belief, on a one-to-one basis, I probably will elaborate and tell you in it. But I tend to just believe it should be personal, you know what I mean? So that we can stop all the division. Because black people don't have the luxury of further divisions. We don't have it at all. What is this on the screen? Swear you lot were gonna get an Obia or Voodoo practitioner on the show. I'm so glad you said this, yeah. But
Let's just address it first.
definitely
and
not
then-
the words. Huh?
So before 100%, I was nearly close to getting one on, right? An active practitioner, right? But then when they found out that I was here,
Oh, I remember. Yeah, they weren't trying to play with you.
no,
But they don't like you.
they were like,
No, they said
who I
Brent
serve.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. To the like, because they watched a couple episodes, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, there's like, I'm not coming on. So that's why I was asking Emmanuel, like, is there a fear from them sides, right, to do stuff on a public platform?
But when you say do stuff, what is stuff?
Well, I specifically said, can you show me something?
Yeah, but what does that mean? what does show you something mean?
Show me what when you hand me one of these cards to say you can do this, that, and the next, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you have spiritual powers to be able to manifest something in this physical realm, right? To show me that you're real. So can you do it?
But obviously,
On camera.
you're speaking very, very, and I'm pretty sure you know this anyway. But you're speaking very, very, very general, right? And this is why the woman, big up you by the way, who wrote this dilemma, said there's such a difference between witchcraft and just African spirituality, or Ifa, which is
Sorry,
Yoruba.
I'm responding to the message that I
know.
got put up on the screen.
Yeah, I know.
Obia and Voodoo.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When you say I'm thinking generally, that was in response to that.
No, but what I'm saying is because the guy that you're talking about that was going to come down, would you say he's an Obi or witchcraft practitioner?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't say that.
Of course, because he doesn't use the language.
No, is that not speaking to what the woman in the thing saying that, like, obviously because the world and the religion and stuff, all that stuff gets whitewashed, and then you're going to take away people's histories, and everybody had their different religions and stuff like that, and because the Europeans didn't agree with it, they started calling it witchcraft, or started putting negative connotations on it, and that's what you're buying into.
100%. I don't mind changing the word. I just want him to come on.
Okay.
I don't mind calling him whatever he wants me to call him.
Yeah,
whatever he wants to identify as, I don't mind.
If you what she said, what I'm asking is, if like, do you think there's a possibility that if you actually looked into that stuff, it might not be like this evil thing?
But I have looked into it.
And you think it's evil still?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Only because of obviously what I believe.
Yeah.
That's how I frame it. Like I said, I can
Yeah, but obviously what you believe is whitewashed. You believe. Remember, you pray to a white Jesus.
Who prays to white Jesus?
You.
Who's that? Who's the white Jesus?
White Jesus.
Jesus?
Well, no, obviously, yeah. But I pray to a black Jesus.
All right then.
Sorry. Wait, sorry.
You pray?
As in that's the name of the show. Sorry. As in you have a picture of a black Jesus and you pray to it?
No, I don't have a picture.
So when you say you pray to a black Jesus, what do you mean?
It's black Jesus, isn't it? I know he's a man of colour, POC.
So I think that he's white?
Yeah, you do. You do.
When have you heard me say that?
No, but obviously, yeah, you're entrenched in Christianity, and the visuals of like the standard, you don't differentiate. So obviously, like you just in your mind, when you see Jesus, you see that long brown hair with a beard.
Who are you talking about? Me?
Yeah.
When have I said that?
Oh, sorry, it's my bad. I just assumed.
Thank you very much. Continue, Manuel.
No, what I was trying to say is that because I guess the reason why I said you speaking generally is because you're assuming that anyone who practices this, right, can do something that you can see and something happen. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say to you is a lot of these belief systems, number one, are very different. And secondly, it's not some spooktified, spooky business. You know what I mean? It's not illusions and stuff. Like some of these things it's just divination. It's just ways to live your life. It just gives you instruction on what to do today. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sorry, just so people have context, this particular person I'm talking about essentially was able to make a particular patch on the earth, the ground in which we walk on, a circular patch, rain, and everything around that patch was not raining. And they had basically collected some, not chicken legs, but some sort of dead animal, this, that, and next. They put blood in it, blah, blah, blah. And they buried it under this particular circular patch in the ground. And then very soon after, only that particular patch had rain falling on it. So when you say what you're saying about this, that, and next, I'm just talking about, if I've heard that person tell me that is what has happened, right? I'm going to be like, okay, I want them to come on and talk about this more. I want to know about this more. Some Christians would like, why are you even playing with that? I know that.
Yeah.
I 100% know that. Some people wouldn't even look to hold counsel with, not counsel, just converse with that particular person. But I serve the true and living God. I ain't afraid nobody. But and as you see, he decided he didn't want to come because he afraid my God.
Well, look at what TC said in the chat. He said, when you go home, well, he's basically speaking to me. He said, when you go home, have you not seen people stop the rain at funerals? Me personally, no, I've not seen it.
No, I haven't.
I've not seen it.
And one
personally.
spot? Just one spot?
I don't know. TC, speak to us. Let us know, man. What you mean? Yeah, so what Fighters Media was saying, what was he saying? Isn't that just a barrier to get past? Being more definitive with your speech, leaving no way for anyone to call you compromised with both feet in contradictory camps. Yeah, but you have to remember, I
said Chris Lam, you know. Chris Lam.
Yeah, i.e. Chris Lam. But you have to remember, I Manuel, don't care, innit? Like, I don't care what somebody thinks about my religious position at all. I only care to some degree what you think about my views as it pertains to black people, because that's what matters to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think should matter to black people. That's basically my position. But
Brent plays with fire all the time. You forget Brent had done doing witchcraft live on the show.
You don't want Kelechi?
Oh, tarot cards.
My good friend Kelechi.
I didn't speak to your friendship.
I'm asking you if that's what you're talking about. I need you
Yes.
to be frank.
Yes.
Mags. Speak plainly.
Yeah, the tarot cards and that.
Yeah, 100%. Tarot card is within divinity, and we talk about that all the time. She knows that what I think about her all the time. All the time, and I feel as though these particular people are placed in my life because I am open to basically reason with them. And I always look to basically push. I do believe the Holy Spirit will then take his own time to do whatever he wants to do. But I'm not running away from that. 100% I'm not. Obviously, you're not gonna find me in brothels and whatnot, right? I'm not going to be. Well, I'm good. I'm going in there to proselytize. That's what I'm doing. I'll get caught up. But 100%, I'm not pushing you away because, like I keep telling everybody, sins aren't dead. So even me, a liar, right? I want to go with that one.
It was a good one.
Crazy. Let's use that one. Even me, a liar. Me looking at her and thinking that she practices divinity, right? What's the difference between both of us? Me lying and her doing that. Do you understand? I'm saved and sanctified, yeah, right? But why can't I have compassion for her? Why can't I basically talk to her about the things that I feel are good? I.e., Jesus Christ. Do you understand? I'm not going to shun you for that. Did Jesus do that? No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, and yeah, some people, like I said, I know Christians. Christians, they're not going to be talking with these people. They're not going to be friendly with these people. I know all of that, and I don't fault them for that. Cool. But my thing is my thing. Sorry, let's get back to her dilemma. Please.
Yeah.
Let's address that completely.
There's so many different things, but I think ultimately what she's basically saying is, if people knew the history, right, of colonialism, imperialism, and just our interaction with white people, would we still believe what we believe about religion? And I think she's taken a step to basically say, I've explored who I am culturally as a Yoruba woman and the belief systems that we've had for thousands of years, for example. And I don't believe all the things that have been said about our belief system, which is basically that I believe that same thing too. But I know that obviously the average Christian or Muslim or whatever will say, no, anything that's outside of this is evil. And I like the point she made about issue, and I've mentioned this on the show many a times. In Yoruba, in our belief system, we don't have a devil. Do you get what I'm saying? We don't have a concept of a devil or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's foreign to us. But when the white people came to us and started ministering and doing the whole missionary business and proselytizing, evangelizing to us, because we don't know anything, right? This same Reverend Samuel Ajayi, he basically wrote the Bible. So he translated the Bible, right? And there was no word in Yoruba language that he could use for the devil. So he used the most, I guess, the one that he thought was closest, and that's Eshu. Eshu is kind of known as a trickster. You know what I'm saying? And so he thought, that's the closest way to actually bring the parallel across so that we can actually evangelize to more of our people. And that's the misconception. So now people, whenever they hear Eshu, they think devil. Do you get what I'm saying? And now you just put on top of our belief system something that's just completely foreign to it. You know what I'm saying? And now you just demonize the entire thing. And that's the issue. That is one of the biggest issues. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, you talk to any Yoruba person who goes to church or goes to the mosque, whatever it may be, right? Mention certain things about issue or whatever, they'll start behaving like you just summoned the devil. You know what I'm saying? And it's just wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so I think what she's basically saying is there's more things like this. There's so many things that we demonize. Even, and again, I've said this on the show as well, the concept of Orisha, right? Which is basically, how would I even explain the Orisha? Almost like expressions of God, right? But in expressions of God or not mediums, but you know, in certain belief systems, you kind of will what's the word? Not a medium, but you say you represent somebody, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of them. It's a basic word. I can't think of it. Anyway, but basically like that, right? In our belief systems, we have Orisha, so which basically represent different things. So, for example, you may have the god of thunder, or the god of iron, or the god of this, the god of that. But the reality is, if you actually knew about Yoruba religion, Yoruba belief systems, Ifa, we don't have many gods. We have only one god. But they couldn't translate Orisha into English. So they just saw it as gods. You know what I'm saying? So now they believe that we're just polytheistic. That's not the case. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's these things that make people say you can't marry the ideas sometimes, or they're completely different. And by just thinking some of these things are good practices, you're now inviting the devil in, which to me, I don't believe. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's basically her viewpoint. But there's so many different things in here that I'm not too sure what to tackle next. But she said also, I don't hate the church and I'm not involved in cults or cultish behaviors. I just wonder if people really knew our history, what they would believe. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not too sure what else to kind of to say. But yeah. If you're listening now, message me so we can have a dialogue about this particular thing.
We gave him an opportunity, and this is what he gave us.
No, because I know that it's such a layered conversation, and obviously she's not here for me to actually bounce back and forth with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know necessarily where to take it. But what I will say is, I think people's conceptions of God and stuff like that is based on I don't know. I guess their experience in life, innit? And the things that they believe and being indoctrinated to believe. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, like Brent, do you believe that God has a name? Do you believe that God is a name or a title? Like just saying God, G-O-D. Like you guys, what do you think?
What's God's name?
Yeah, do you feel like God has a name, or do you feel like
Jehovah
all
Jireh.
these names are titles? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, what's your ideas of God, basically? I know it's a very general question, but yeah, what's your how do you perceive God?
I've never seen it as a title. I've literally seen it as a name.
Which one? What, God or Jehovah?
Yeah, like even God. Like I don't see them as titles. I don't know. I've never thought about it, to be fair.
Well, he's described in many different ways based on the characteristics displayed, right? So, several titles. I don't know if it's important for him to have a name, because wouldn't we know it if it was that important?
Yeah, I don't know. Jehovah Jireh, man.
I mean, like I said, there are plenty of things attributed to God.
Yeah.
Right? But what does Jehovah Jireh mean? Something like God is great or something like that?
A provider.
My
Jehovah
provider.
So it's his characteristics, right? But I don't know the importance of him having a specific name.
But I think that's also, I think, again, I could be wrong here, but I think most people are not seeing it the way you just articulated that, Brent. I think people just believe these names or whatever are names of God. You know what I'm saying? And because they have different names, if you call on God by that name, you're not necessarily calling on that God. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it has a different name. How the hell are they the same person? So then it's easy to say that God over there with that name is not the God that you called upon. And also that's a bad God or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to have those divisions. Do you get what I'm saying? But if you see it as titles, and if you believe, for example, God is one, and there's only one source from which or from whom all things came, then these names will be just to be titles, expressions of who he is, how human beings have conceptualized this supreme being. Do you get what I'm saying? And there'll be less divisions.
So you hold back your thoughts on what you believe in because you feel it will stir up division.
I believe it will. Yeah, it will facilitate division, and yeah.
So isn't this not what we were talking about today about holding your tongue for fear that it derails a purpose or mission?
I don't think so.
Have you got a problem talking about religion?
No.
But not what you believe in. You want everybody else to share what they believe in. There are two conversations happening at the same time.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I don't think you're there. You don't want to finish?
No, it was on. Sorry.
No, it sounded like were in the throes of joy and laughter.
No, we're
finish
done.
it.
We're done. Sorry.
What?
Someone was blaspheming.
Margs was blaspheming.
What was he saying?
He said he heard God's name is Marcus. It was like, what?
Who told you that?
That was good.
Ancient Teachings.
Okay.
It's a book I found.
Marcus. Cool.
Like, out of all the names.
Sorry, you don't want to share it because you don't want to confuse people?
I don't think I have that much influence. It's just more so I just don't want another hurdle, because I've seen it for years. I've studied it for years. Bring religion into any conversation, especially with black people, just human beings anyway, but black people, it's going to be division. People are going to draw lines and say, I'm on this side. And then you'll fight over these particular things instead of focusing on the thing that's affecting all of you at the same time. And I don't want to further add to that particular thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not a case of me saying, oh, everyone else should share their beliefs. I'm not forcing nobody to do anything. But people willingly say, yeah, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm this. That's fine. I could be one of those things, but it's just, you know what I mean? Plus, I also like the idea that people should think about, really interrogate the belief systems they have, because I feel like a lot of the time, us as human beings, we believe something because we're literally just born in that particular house.
But you should be allowed to share your beliefs without fear that people will think that you're causing division, though.
No, it's not me causing division. It's just it will divide, because people will say, okay, cool.
But that's the nature with anybody and their belief. And we have different people in this room with different beliefs. And you're fine with asking us questions to share what we believe in, but why can't you?
I can, but I just don't see it as something that's necessary, because I personally believe religion should be a personal thing.
So no one should be talking about it on the air, you mean?
No, I don't know why you don't get what I'm saying. I'm saying...
Wait, do you think that you're speaking plainly?
Yes.
Because the person said that you normally get shut down when it's time for you to share your opinion on religion.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, share your opinion. You're saying no. I'm saying, why is it? Because you ask us for opinion on our faiths.
No, I don't have a problem with sharing my opinion on religion. This is why I asked the questions I asked. This is why on a particular day you may hear me defending a particular camp. But my personal belief, right, spending the time going into all of that stuff, how long it will take and all that sort of stuff, to me, would just bring about more division.
Stop
right?
it. Stop it. We've spent 5 hours here talking about frivolous stuff. To suggest as though you're doing this for the best or the betterment of the product, I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. I am. So I need to do a poll. Who wants to hear what Emmanuel believes religious-wise, right? I'm going to do a poll. And we're going to continue the show. And by the end of the show, if it is that we are seeing an overwhelming yes, then brother, you have to address it. There's no way you're skirting around this, because you're forcing everybody else to basically share their opinions on everything else, and you're saying, no, I'll hold my tongue because of division. Nah, sorry.
So you're telling me I have to share what?
Your thoughts on religion. What you believe in.
I'm sharing my thoughts on religion.
So are you now saying that you've been doing it?
I believe so. I've said my personal belief is that there's only one God. That's what I believe. And what I believe, right, is you find truth in many different places. I've never, from the beginning, ever thought that my culture, Yoruba culture, right, is demonic. I've never been able to marry those ideas. I don't believe so. Do you get what I'm saying? The average Christian does. The average Muslim might do, or whatever it may be. That's their belief. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's certain things in Christianity, Islam, whatever, Judaism, Ifa, or whatever it may be that I believe in. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is why I guess I approach it in this particular manner. My thing is, if I go around saying all these things, people may just hear contradictions, or people may just say, okay, cool, you're just this particular thing. But ultimately, the overall thing is, I think it's a personal thing. You get somebody like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a Muslim, right? But when he split from the nation, there were 2 organizations he made. He made one that was for Muslims, you know what I'm saying? Muslim Mosque Incorporated, MI. Then he had another organization that was just about activism, blackness, and no matter what you believe, come and join this thing. Because he recognized black people kind of needed both. But he didn't want religion to be the main talking point, or a talking point at all, because we don't have the luxury of having another thing that will split us. That's basically my position. That's just how I see it. I just don't see why it's important. Because everybody else has their belief system. That's fine. That's it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's simple for me.
Hey, Brent, can I jump in?
Who's that, Black
Good
Tape?
morning.
I did not answer to that name.
sorry.
From what I hear, like, E-Man sounds like I think we spoke about this once before, where it's religious pluralism. So there's this whole thing of there's an elephant and it has every different religion on it. So Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, and it says that, the elephant is God, and they're just different paths to the same source. I think that's what kind of like E-Man says. But E-Man also says that he's a man of science and a man of logic. And religious pluralism logically doesn't make sense. Like, it actually does. It's logically fallible because, like, Christianity, like, forget about what religion you believe. If you believe all religions lead to the same God, that is factually wrong, because Christianity says Jesus is the only way to salvation. So they're making a claim that they are right and everyone else is wrong. Islam says Jesus is a prophet. So they're by saying he's a prophet but he's not divine, they're saying Christianity is wrong with the claim they make that Jesus is God. So there's lots within each religion. There's things that contradict other religions. So if you believe one religion, you actually have to think the others are wrong. Otherwise, you don't really believe everything in your religion.
Yeah. And then what happens?
So doing the whole gumbo thing of, I like a bit of that, do pick a mix, means that you don't believe any of them, because all of them make truth claims. That means that what they believe casts out everything else.
Do you believe in the concept of hell?
Yes.
Do you believe that Jesus believed that?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
There's probably scriptures that I can go to. I don't have it off my hand, but do you have a response to kind of what we said about? Because is this a response to what I've said?
Yeah, of course. We're having a conversation, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just a response to that.
I haven't got scripture to back it up right now.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure there's scripture to back it up, but I don't have it.
When you get it, please share it with me, yeah? Or put it in Discord or in the chat. I'm not saying, by the way, that this is not the case. I'm just asking the question. Because what I'm trying to say, where I'm kind of going with this is, a lot of the time, like I said before, when we take on religions, we take on the culture of a particular people. Where are we drawing the lines? Have we interrogated these particular ideas and understood that we're taking on some of these cultural practices? Do you get what I'm saying? As opposed to the religious practices, right? In the Bible, it talks about El and Yahweh and Jehovah and all this, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe them to be the same God?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Israelites were making graven images of this God?
Well, the whole of the Old Testament is Israelites worshipping God, getting a bit gassed. We're starting to worship other gods and then getting punished for it. Like, it happens like 1,000 times all the way through the Old Testament. So there is one God, but they keep straying, they get punished, and then they go back to God. That's what the whole Old Testament's about.
So when they were making graven images, they were making graven images of other gods.
Yes, so false idols, fallen angels, Baal, Moloch, all that stuff, all the stuff that all these celebrities in Hollywood are worshipping now.
So
the
why?
Same angels of the Bible.
All right, cool.
Funny that, innit?
So do you believe that Ogun and Shango, all these men are fallen angels and idols and things of that nature?
Yep.
Why is there statues of a god called El?
Where?
In real life, like you can go to a museum and see the statue of El.
I don't know. You have to tell me. You seem to know more about this than me. What's El?
El is a god that the Israelites worshipped. It's just a fact. Why? Because Israelites came from Canaan. They were Canaanites. The Bible speaks about there being divisions between the two, because you're writing a story to make that difference between you and the people you came from. But in Canaan, they worshipped El.
I don't want to sidetrack for this, but I would like a rebuttal for the thing I said at the beginning, which was that you seem to be practicing some religious pluralism, which means that you.
I don't need to rebut
I've just told you that is logical. That's a logical fallacy, because all of the religions contradict each other. So how do you justify that in your mind when you said you're a man of science that likes logic and what you believe is a logical fallacy?
That doesn't mean anything. I don't need to justify that, because I've said this many times before.
Okay, then so when
There's
Terrence
some
Howard says
things-
1 + 1 is 3, you can't say it's crazy because you're saying the same thing but in a roundabout way.
No, I can, because we both know, you and me both know that in religion, there's just certain places, certain things you just lead to believe. I know for a fact you can't prove everything you believe.
No.
For a
That's
fact.
why it's called faith. That's why it's called faith. 100%.
Beautiful,
That's right.
beautiful. So if I'm telling you that in my brain, certain things that you find as contradictions, I don't see the contradiction. I don't understand. What's the issue?
So you're saying that's your truth? Is that what you're saying?
Whatever it is, I'm just saying, to me, I know that there's certain truths that you will, for example, because of your belief system, that you refuse to acknowledge. So this is the reason why I spoke about El, right? You're telling me Israelites never worship no El. Pardon me,
I didn't say
a
that. I said I didn't know
graven
nothing about
image,
that.
a graven image, I should say. Basically, you're saying to me that Israelites basically worshipped fallen idols, and when they worship graven images, these were like, other gods, right? And I'm saying to you, there's evidence of Israelites or people that came from Canaan worshipping El, who became the God of the Bible in a graven form. Does that change what you see in the Bible?
Sorry, what are you saying? Let me just be very clear what you're saying. Are you saying that they were idol worshipping and that idol became God?
No, I'm basically saying that in some regard, yes. Yes. But that's because you called it idol worshipping.
So this El, what did El look like?
Like a gold sort of statue, and yeah.
And
Like, if you Google it, you'll see. Because the point, I guess for me, what I believe is that God, this one true being, has expressed and showed himself to different cultures around the world in different ways. Why do I say that? Because I believe that cultures have tried to articulate their perception and conception of God. You're talking about Israel and you give so much credence to the Bible. Where did monotheism come from to you, Black Rob?
Where did monotheism come from?
Yeah. Worship only one God.
Yeah, it's from the Bible. Isn't it?
This is what I'm trying to say to you. So when we say, I don't mean it in a bad way, Black Rob. I'm just saying.
No, go for it.
But what I'm trying to say is that when we think that's the case, right, then we ascribe certain things, and then it informs our worldview and our religious view. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, 1,000 years before, in Kemet, there was somebody called Akhenaten who believed in one God. So if that was where it came from, in Africa, in Kemet, what are we doing here? Where's the link?
So
You don't have to
What
cite your sources.
sorry,
and all
I've
that
just
stuff.
Googled this. It said this is the conflation between El and Yahweh.
Exactly,
And El
yeah.
is supposed to be...
Don't say exactly.
No, stop.
Go on.
Stop. You said something.
Yes,
and
go on.
it's the first time I've heard this from your mouth.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm not hearing this for the first time, and I'm curious. So I've asked you about it because it sounds as though you're basically saying that God was an idol that then turned into this God of the Bible. So we are basically worshipping something that was created by man. Yes? So these are the implications of what you were saying. So that shocked me that this is the first time I'm hearing about this, because I've known you for years. So I've just Googled this, and I am going to be doing my research on this afterwards, because I think this is mad, right?
And this L one, I just Googled it
Wait
as well.
a minute,
Father of
Black
God.
Rob.
Go for
I'm
it.
processing what has just happened.
Go.
So when I do my own research, because I'm not just going to disregard it off the bat, because it's the first time I'm hearing it.
Same.
Cool.
I'm going to come back and present this information I found to the public, and this is a real life example of what I'm saying that this platform is for.
Yes.
Right? I obviously hold a particular position. When you said what you said, that shook me, because what? And why are you only now telling me about this, Emmanuel? Right? So I'm reading here that there was a conflation of this El character. This El had a wife, right?
Yeah.
Called Asherah.
Okay.
So it was a physical person. I'm asking you a question.
What do you mean he was a physical
He
person?
had a wife.
Why would they have to be a physical person to have a wife?
Talk to me.
Gods have wives all the time. Odin had a wife, and Zeus had a wife.
Didn't Odin have a physical presence?
It depends who you talk to. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. There's no evidence that Odin existed. None.
You know, at first I was like, Brent
is
shouldn't force E-Man to share his religious beliefs. But now I think it's good because I want to hear everything he knows so I can do my own research and rebuttal it. Because like right now I didn't know this L stuff, this whatever you said before about the African thing. I could I love research, so I'll research it and I'll probably find holes in it real quick.
I guarantee
but I don't know.
I guarantee you're not going to find no hole in the fact that Akhenaten was the first person to bring monotheism. Akhenaten was here before Abraham. That's a fact. Again, challenge it. I've been reading for years. Yeah,
so
when I say what I'm saying,
Odin wasn't a person, no.
No, didn't he present himself in a physical form to his followers?
What, as a man?
Yes, I guess.
No, I don't think he did. They would be, obviously there'd be signs and stuff where they think like Odin's presence is there, but I don't think he presented himself as a physical person.
Are you just saying that without like research at all? Are you just, this is what I think?
No, but you know I fuck with the Norse gods, and I can't think of examples of where Odin presented himself as a person.
Or the Norse gods did present themselves
forget
physical.
Physical. So the humans could see him.
Like when you're saying him, you're not
so much so him as I'm going.
No, but they could see like signs of that
they all had physical attributes. The Norse gods. That's why they say that Thor had a ginger beard, and he was like. They have specific, like they knew what everyone
Odin's
looked like.
Allfather is different. Odin didn't present.
And I thought was his son.
But yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say. Like Jesus is God's son, and you ain't seen him. Like you know what I'm trying to say. Like so, forget them other ones. Forget Freyr and all them man there. I don't know Loki or whatever. I'm saying I don't know. I'll have to go and do more research, but I don't think Odin presented as a physical thing.
I did 100%.
So when you say presented,
when you saying he did. What, as a man, as a person, or what then?
I don't want to be distracted from what we were talking about, right? Because this was just a throwaway comment.
Big up my Norse gods. You know what? Guys of Valhalla.
So, but Iman, you should never be afraid to speak your truth. This is what you tell people all the time.
I'm not afraid, believe me.
Speak truth to power at all times.
Believe me, I'm not afraid.
You shouldn't be afraid to be challenged by what you say either. So holding your tongue for fear that people are going to now look at you weird, brother.
I don't know why you're saying this stuff. Like, again, I've said countless things on this show, yeah? Emmanuel's not afraid of nobody's opinion or opinion of him at all. I do not like division. I'm simply saying to you, Black Rob, again, remember, we're different people.
Yeah.
Right? Akhenaten, was the first person to do away with all the gods in Egypt and said there's only one God. I'm telling you this as a matter of fact. This is not something to debate. It is done.
Send me all your information and that afterwards. Send me everything. I love to be proven wrong.
Just Google it. Just Google it.
Right,
trust what I'm saying. A good 1,000 or so years before Abraham was even born. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I don't have a problem with this. I have no problem with this.
If you were sitting on a bad boy piece of information, you should let the people know this.
Why is that bad boy information?
No, but the fact that it is, I'm now hearing it from you for the first time. Mama, I'm flipping like learning things.
But Brent,
I like when it is that you can educate me. Do you understand? And this is what this platform is for. So if it is that you have knowledge that I can benefit from, share it with me.
Let me tell you something, Brent. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you're holding the truth. If what you're saying is true, and we're hypothetically worshiping a false god, isn't it your duty to tell us that we're not going down the wrong path?
No.
That's how I think, and that's why I'm so a bit zealous when we talk about religion.
I hear you. But because it's not my priority, right? Black unity is. That's the reason why. And number two, I believe religion, even if you may see a particular person's religion as false, if it is something that's productive for that human being, who am I to try and push them away from it? I do not believe in that. I have no, believe me, I have no desire to make any Christian question their faith. No Muslim question their faith. If we have a back and forth, maybe the person's a bit rude or arrogant, maybe I might have to show you a few things here or there. But just on the onset, I'm not interested because it's making you a good person. So when I'm saying what I'm saying about the one true God, you're going to go away and see this and you're going to be confronted with what I'm saying. It is true. But again, you may, go to certain scholars who are Christian who can try and justify this stuff. Beautiful. It's just a fact though. But what I'm saying to you is, that the idea of one God came from Egypt. It didn't come from the Bible. It didn't come from Kemet. Sorry, it didn't come from Abraham. You know what I'm saying? But again, to a Christian, this may be a problem. to me, it's not a problem at all. I don't see it as something that should shake your faith, but it may do. And because of this, go on.
It's not a problem to you because you've said it time and time again. Your melanin supersedes your
Okay.
spirituality.
So let me ask you
Why
this
is
back.
the other way around for most people?
Oh, there you go, right? And because I know this, I don't want to be responsible for somebody feeling a particular way about their faith. You know what I'm saying?
Their politics is fine. Their political view is fine. You don't
100%.
mind about the division on that end.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind because at least with politics we can somewhat prove, we can look at stats, we can do certain things, right? Religion, you can't do that. People, I've said many times before. This is the reason why with aliens, I believe
You just
personally
said something was a fact just now when you said that you can't find empirical evidence. You just said it
about
was a fact.
Akhenaten.
No, about the one God being from Egypt.
Yeah, monotheism, Akhenaten.
Oh, sorry about that.
How do you? Well, what proof is there that it's a fact?
It's evidence in the on the Medinetia.
Oof.
Oh, you mean so archaeological findings,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Okay.
Prior to him, his father Amenhotep III, he called him Amenhotep IV.
All right.
Can
Can you explain the relevance of this?
All I'm trying to say is that I guess for the average person, Christian, Muslim, whatever, they think every single answer is in the Bible. I know Brent.
You fully well know.
Exactly. I know. For Brent, that's not necessarily the case. But you have to understand, Brent, that is not a popular Christian idea. This is the reason why I asked why I asked him about this idea of one God. Where did it come from? The Bible. I said, okay, cool.
Why I'm saying it very simply, I think most Christians would know that before the Bible was created,
Laws of
God
Moses.
still was there. So
Say that again.
Yeah.
Say that again. What you say?
me,
Yeah.
before the Bible was created, before it was compiled, many different books and whatnot, God was still there.
Yeah. No, but the idea of monotheism, serving one God. I asked that question. Black Rob, you said it came from the Bible, right?
Yeah, you meant source, right? But obviously, the idea of one God has been there from the beginning.
The beginning of what?
Beginning of time.
I don't
But that's the thing, though. I don't want to give
Now you
anything
want
that
specificity.
have evidence.
No, it has to make sense.
Yeah,
The idea.
exactly.
What are you saying exactly to? Look,
No, he's making a good point. Black Rob, what you just said was just like,
it didn't make no sense.
Airy fairy. No, I give you that. Let me. I haven't got a strong answer for that. I'll give you that. Yeah. I hold my hands up. That one was a bit shaky.
But you see, for me, I just believe as though our ideas and conception
But
of
I've
God.
cornered you because you said archaeological evidence is what you got to. That's as evidence for what you believe, right?
It's on the Medinetia.
So if I find archaeological evidence that predates that, then you're Gucci, right?
100%.
but that's what normally happens.
And I guarantee you that archaeological evidence that you're finding will not be from the Bible. It won't be. Or from any
I have no
biblical
problem
text.
There's
with
no
that.
archaeological
I have no
evidence in
problem
the
with that.
Bible.
What I'm trying to say is the text.
Bible's
right?
written text.
Yeah.
I have
The
no problem
text,
with
the ideas, the text, right? It wouldn't have been there. Because if you're trying to disprove what I'm saying, are you trying to just disprove what I'm saying or prove it came from the Bible? Because disproving what I'm saying, that's fine. But
All right.
are you
I don't
proving
know
it
what
came
I'm
from the Bible?
disproving yet.
Don't
I'm gonna
worry,
look
we're
up-
wrapping this up.
I'll look
We
up
are boring people. Cool?
Cool.
Lovely.
Right.
Thank you very much, Black Rob. And
Right.
you should always answer the call. The same way I'm telling the man to basically speak truth to power, you should always do the same. There is going to be a day when, Emmanuel, where is it we need to set aside, we need to bring in experts, and let's talk about this. I don't think we should shy away from you sharing the entire breadth of your belief system, man. It's not, especially seeing as you exact the same from everybody else around you, just to understand the person in which it is that you're dialoguing with, man. I'm sorry that if I ever came across in your presence where you felt you couldn't speak because of my bullish tactics. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
Stop it. I'm simply saying my whole thing is about not division. Again, I'm not trying to, I hope I don't come across arrogant here, yeah? But I don't want to be one of those people that says certain things to you, especially if you're cool, you're living good, you're doing your thing, that shakes your faith, the thing that makes you who you are. Because I'm not interested in that. That's your personal belief. Do you know what I'm saying? And that personal belief, if it makes you an amazing person, beautiful.
Amen and amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And that's basically how I see it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not one of those, it's not my job. So again, if for example, this probably won't happen, if Black Rob goes away, finds out what I'm saying is true, it shakes his faith, I will feel bad. Do you get what I'm saying? No, 100%. I'm saying it.
But he's found the truth though.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So you're worried about how you're feeling.
How I'm feeling.
You see? So
No,
what
because
feels for Emmanuel. I never thought that was it.
Either way, I know Black Rebel won't feel that way because he'll come up with something else that will make him feel good about his belief system.
Wait,
even though it's not right.
you're saying that he's going to basically block his eyes and then read what he wants to read.
We're human beings. We all do it. But I guarantee you, you will go away. He will go away. You'll see I'm right. You come back.
Yes,
you come back. You come back, and you have a reason.
I am never going to be looking to chase, follow anything I don't believe in. I test everything with my current stance. I weigh it up. Any new information, I weigh it up with what I currently believe, and I see which argument is stronger and what is my spirit now leaning towards. That's how I move. Cool. So when you're saying that if I find that you're right, I don't even know what you're saying.
All right.
Do you understand? You mentioned L. I'm going to now look to Google L to see if it is that the Israelites worshipped a man with a wife and then made him into the God of the Bible. Because this is what you said.
Stop saying a man with a wife, Brent. Because I want you to understand what I'm saying. L.
How did the statue get created? Was it off of his image?
I don't know.
This is what I want to find out. I want to find the answers.
Let me tell you what I'm saying. So you're not looking for something I'm not saying. I'm saying to you, there are statues of El. I'm saying that the evidence suggests that Israel, there was no, as the Bible tells the story of Israel coming from Jacob and all that sort of stuff, not beautiful stories and stuff, yeah? I'm simply saying to you that the evidence suggests that Israelites were simply Canaanites.
Yeah, I know about that.
Cool. Canaanites worshipped El.
They worshipped many other gods too.
Yes. Thank you very much, Brent. One of them was El, right? In a graven image form. That El is who the Israelites then went on separating, took as God. With time, they removed the idea of having a graven image, and it became El.
Yahweh.
This is why.
Right, that's what I want you to say. So
No. It still was El. This is the reason why in the Bible there was Elohim, there was El,
yes.
And then you get to a certain point in time that they stop with the El and they start saying Yah. Isaiah, Elijah,
But you're saying it's the same God, right?
Yeah, to the Israelites, yes, 100%.
Thank you. All right.
But what I'm saying to you is the evidence suggests that at some point in time these gods all existed. So again, you can go to Egypt. I'll need to get my source for this because I can't remember exactly where. There was a cult of Yahweh. So you've got people who are distinct serving Yahweh, right? The cult of Yahweh. You've got some people who are worshipping El, for example. You've got people. So what I'm trying to get at, yeah, again, this is such a layered conversation. But the evidence suggests that with time there was a homogenizing of a people, and a people need a common belief system, right? And you move in a particular direction, right? And that's what happens. And so it might be that there's a deliberate thing to be like, okay, you know what, let's do away with the other gods. Or it might be just with time, people just think, wait a minute, why are we worshiping these same gods, so these different gods and different names? Actually, I think they're just the same being. And then that idea develops, whatever it is. But I'm saying to you, at different times, these gods all existed. And
I've said that.
Okay, cool.
So that's not, you're talking, but all I'm still interested in the thing that you said. So
okay,
El
cool.
and Yahweh are the same being.
No, I'm saying to you that Israelites, that's the case in the Bible. Yes, in the Bible that is the case. But again, many scholars say they are not the same being. But with time, with Israelites identifying as one group of people, they became the same being. Hence the different names.
Let's move on. I think I've had enough.
Cool.
As in, I have enough from what you've said.
Yeah.
I know that if I continue listening to you, you're going to change it a bit. But
I'm not changing.
Okay.
What's
the last time, please?
Last what?
Dilemma.
Oh, yes.
There's one more. And please, that lady, please message Emmanuel and y'all can basically have a Zoom call.
I think you know, man.
All right, last one. I found out that all the jewelry my girlfriend wears every single day was gifted to her by her ex. She even wears a ring and a necklace that he got her. It's made me uncomfortable and I've bit my tongue for far too long on how I feel about it. Am I wrong for feeling this way? And how do you suggest I go about telling her that I'm not a fan of her wearing the accessories her ex got her?
Sounds like a hater.
For the men in the room. Do you think there's anything wrong with your partner wearing jewelry from a past relationship?
It depends what it is. Depends how nice it is. If it's expensive, then I'm with it. I don't give a shit. If it's something shit but it's just sentimental, like some little locket that you got, but you wear it every day and your ex gave it to you, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Kind of thing. But if it was like if it's something like valuable and expensive, I ain't really gonna hate on that. And if you don't want it to wear it, you better be prepared to replace it. You know what I'm trying to say? You're gonna tell your gal dash away a Rolex because your ex got it for you. You fucking hate her. Like, where's my Patek? You know what I'm trying to say?
Not the Patek.
No, but if you want me to get rid of it, then surely you're trying to replace it because you're not just telling me to just dash this away just because. Like, what are we talking about? But if it's something that's cheap and the value's in the sentiment, then I'd be like, what are we doing there? Like, dash that little piece of shit away.
Got it.
Yeah.
Brighty, man.
Yeah, pretty much. I got the same sort of thing. Because again, if it's cheap stuff, then obviously it's the meaning. You know what I mean? Expensive, let's not waste money. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So
You are an economist, isn't it?
I try my best.
Yeah, you can want her to get rid of it, but if you ain't gonna replace it, then that's tough, isn't it?
But then does she have to wear it as often as she does?
She wears it every day.
You know what I'm saying? That's a bit. You know what I mean? It's a bit.
So when would you rather she wear it on special occasions? Your anniversary. Because it's fancy. Hello?
Would you remove jewelry that you got from an ex once you got into a new relationship? For both ones, if it was cheap and sentimental or if it was expensive. Let's just say a 12 grand Rolex.
Oh, hell no.
You say you're not?
Hell no. Hell no, I'm not. I might, no, nah. Let me not even sit here and lie. I'm not. Unless, number one, I'm going to pawn it in for something else. Pawn it or like sell it or whatever. But again, if it's, I think maybe it's a similar thing that you're saying. Like, are you going to replace it or? Do you know what I mean? But if it's like something that's cheap and it's more of a sentiment, then yeah, I'm getting rid of that. But even, I don't know, even if it's not like, so what about like gifts in general? So is there a difference between like a bag as opposed to like jewelry?
No, I
Like,
don't
let's say she had a bag, like a designer bag that her ex got her that she carried around. Would that bother you?
Why the hell do I know that your ex got you that bag?
But that's...
Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't like.
Yeah.
I just don't like foolishness. I got no business knowing that your ex got you that bag. Who cares about the bag? It's like, now you want me to care about it. Why are you telling me your ex man bought you this bag for? Like, I don't need to know this shit. I don't even need to know that he got you the jewelry. Like, I don't care about all this stuff. Why are you telling me this crap for? Because when you bring it up, that's where you make it an issue. Like, where the truth is, no one don't care because no man didn't care about the jewelry.
But maybe she
until you
didn't
told
bring it
him
up.
His ex got it.
How do you not know that he didn't ask? Oh, that's nice. Where'd you get that from? Because that's an innocent question.
Rolex.
No shit, Sherlock.
No, but I'm saying like you don't need to. This is why people move like.
No, but so if
I don't like the people that just pretend that do this honesty thing and you need to be honest all the time. Like, it's just such fucking idiots,
but if
man.
you
Like,
ask,
shut
no,
up,
but
man.
no, hold on.
Like, you don't.
Hold on,
Lying's
no.
good.
You know what? I'm not doing this with you.
Sometimes, like the foundations of like some of the strongest relationships, the foundations are built on lies, man. What are we doing here? And religions, I didn't say that.
At the end of the day, I think you're crazy. How can you say lying is good? You're actually mad.
No, sometimes there's lies that are like.
No, because if you asked me and said, "Oh, where'd you get that watch from?" You know it's a Rolex. I'm not gonna say Rolex because that's dumb. So for me, when you're asking me, I feel like you're asking me to like, you know it's a Rolex, so obviously it's from Rolex. So you asking me where did I get it from or whatever. You're asking. Do you get what I mean?
I
The
bought that,
question-
but people want to jump. Girls do this shit all the time. Want to get on their moral high horse about they're not lying and I need to be honest about this. And I'm saying we don't care about your man then. If you're gonna tell him this foolishness, I don't understand who you think you're doing this for. You don't care about him because once you come with this honesty and you say what you're saying, you're gonna mash up your relationship. Or even if it doesn't mash up over time, there's gonna be resentments there because you're gonna feel a certain way because you're giving him information that you don't rascal need. And you're talking about, oh no, don't lie. I don't want to lie and all this stupid nonsense. It's just stupid. You know what I'm trying to say? But obviously, look, you can do what you want. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you can do what you want. It's up to you. Like, you don't do whatever you want. 'Cause I don't care. You ain't dating me. But I'm just saying, some lies are necessary. Some lies benefit us. Some lies are for the greater good. If you care about your relationship, and sometimes disclosing information is not always like withholding information. I mean, it's not always lying. It's not. It depends on how you look at it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he didn't have to know that your ex got you that shit. Like, these are just idiots. But again, I'm different. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I prefer to be honest, and that's the light that I walk in. Of course, I'd lie to you to keep you happy because I care about you.
You know what? Brent,
I'm just saying.
Hello?
you don't want to take part and give me an answer?
The question was, would I
Like-
like my girl to wear stuff from her ex?
It's not like, but would you be happy with her wearing stuff
Happy?
from her ex? Yeah.
I don't think I would move to that emotion.
Would you have an issue? Okay, would you be having an issue
There we go.
with your ex? Don't do that because you knew what I meant. Would you have an issue with your partner wearing jewelry from her ex?
No, I don't think so. I think it's hers. It's part of her identity. It's part of who I met.
So you're not bothered.
No, there's sentiment there. No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so how do you, for the men in the room, how would you, he obviously does have an issue with it. So how would you advise him to let her know how he feels? Obviously, you've said if he's willing to replace it, then lead with that, right?
Yeah, I just don't have a hater spirit in it. Like, you know, just chatting shit for the sake of chatting shit. And if you can't afford, like, especially maybe if you can't afford it or you couldn't get her, maybe that's what's biting you a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and I just, like I said, I just don't have a hater spirit. And if you wanted to get rid of it so bad, then make sure you're prepared to replace it. Because if not, like, what are we doing here? You're just there, just bitter, and you're just there, just creating problems. And I don't like problems. I prefer solutions. If you don't like the jewelry that she's wearing because her ex got it, go get her some new jewelry. If you can't do that, hold your corner. And again, though, it matters what it is, because if it's some cheap little crap sentimental shit, then I'm more on your side. Because it's like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, what on earth is this? What moment are you clinging onto that you feel like you need to wear this every day? This is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something of value, I can be mad at, like, what are you mad at her for? Like, she's not wearing it because her ex got it. She's wearing it because it's nice. Like, it just so happens that her ex got it. Like, do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one of the things you have to kind of ascertain, though, isn't it? Like, because what if she does, you know, kind of hold it because she's remembering those
What if
times.
it's both?
But what if it's expensive and she loves it because he got him?
In a sentimental. What if it's both?
That's
Because
a-
we're harder.
that's a tough one.
Because it could be that. Yeah, it's nice, but also whenever I look, it's, no, let me not.
No, but some people care about that. Sentiment means a lot to people, and obviously not everything's bad in it. Like, not everything's a waste. This was the time we had. This was my past. At the time, I was with him for a reason. I enjoyed it. This signifies something that means something to me. It doesn't mean I still love the man. But like, we got to compartmentalize a little bit. Like, what are you trying to say? That because I wear it, I want to go and chop him. If you don't, like, if you do think that, then there's a deeper issue here. There's a different problem. There's a different question you got to ask to yourself. Like, am I the type of person you want to be with? If that's who you think I am, why are you even with me if you think I'm that kind of person? There's so much. Obviously, I know you don't call it gaslighting, but those are the kind of things that I'm gonna throw into the fire. So, like, you know what I'm trying to say, because we need to unpack this. What the hell are you trying to say about me? This ain't about the jewelry. This is a personal attack on me.
Oh.
It is, though. Because what are you trying to say I'm going to do? I don't understand. Because if you're not saying that I'm going to chop them or I want to be with them, what's the fucking issue? Again, we're just leading with a hater spirit, and I don't like haters. God don't like ugly.
Ooh. Well, okay.
I think if you can't replace it, again, we need to decipher what it was. Yeah, exactly what you said, though. It could be sentimental and
If
expensive.
it's both, then
That's it's tough. But if you can't replace it, I don't understand what you wanted to do. What do you say? Maybe she could trade it in? Shot it, sell it, trade it, get something equally as nice?
But then the money came from her ex, not from you.
Yeah, that's all right, though.
Oh, is it?
It's just
So that one's okay.
It's currency, innit?
So Shu and Everfoot, you feel the same way? Your ex-man's got a Rolex. It's a nice one. Sky dwelling.
I'm not gonna lie. I
and
don't.
you know his ex got it from.
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
Generally speaking, I'm not like. It's your past is your past, and I can't expect you to like. Do you get what I mean? I don't.
You flex, you go buy him a better watch and say, hey man, take that shit off your wrist, man. Look,
Yeah, if I had the money, of course. Like if I had the
better hair for you. Look at this one.
if I had the money, of course. But like ultimately, I don't care. Like I'm not bothered about stuff like that. Do you get what I mean? So there's bigger fish to fry, man. I feel like you have to pick your battles in relationships. You know what I mean? They're hard. So I personally wouldn't be bothered. But
What if it wasn't a watch? It wasn't a piece of jewelry. It was like some stupid little friendship bracelet thing that he always wears, and you was getting to the bottom of it one day, and you was like, "What the hell is this? Like, why do you
I
always
think that's
wear
that'd be
this?"
like, are you dumb? Costume jewelry. Yeah, that I'd be the same thing. Like, but like you said, if it's sentimental and it's proper, like, oh, but you know, then I'd be like, it's a bit weird. Do you get what I mean? But like, what are you still holding on to here? Do you get what I mean? But Sky Dollar, can she get me one too?
But
All right, and there's an update from a previous dilemma.
Oh, nice. Where is it? Where'd you put it?
I thought I put it in the doc.
Where?
Oh yeah, it's just appeared. It's just appeared. I think.
Not on here.
Yeah. Oh, it's about the car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look.
The CLA.
Why can't I see it? Oh, okay, yeah. Hey guys, if you remember, I sent my dilemma last week about me buying my female best friend's car and my boyfriend wanting to fight me. How do I navigate this? Because I still want to be friends with my female best friend. Esther wanted to know if we had ever fancied each other or kissed. I went here, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
what? Did you read that right? Because I heard
Esther wanted to know if we had ever.
from the beginning.
Hi guys, if you remember, I sent my dilemma last week about me buying my female best friend a car. Huh?
Yeah, a car.
It's not me. Sorry, it's not me.
Yeah, he's done it wrong. It's basically buying her a car and her boyfriend.
Oh, so
wanted
yeah,
to fight him.
yeah, hella confused.
Okay. He bought his female best friend a car.
And her boyfriend wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what this reads.
Yeah.
Okay. And Esther wanted to know if they ever fancied each other or if they kissed. He said, I had a crush on her when I was 13, but that was it. And my wife currently is who I've been with since we were 14. I never
I've never thought anything.
I never anything about her liking me though. Anyway, just to update you, my female best friend and her boyfriend, I hear, have been having some domestics because he supposedly wants her to return it to me, but she doesn't want to. I think he's called off on wanting to fight me, but I still haven't seen my best friend since her birthday party. Funnily enough, my wife started out making more than me. And as Esther said, she actually does have a Defender, but she drives her A7 and uses it more because of our kids, in her own words. It would break my heart if my best friend was forced to return the car I got for her because I know how she struggled with her car for years. Do you think I should reach out to her boyfriend and try and have a chat one-to-one and see if possibly maybe we could work together on getting her a car if she returns to CLA? With obviously him having ultimate say what to get for his girl. Sorry if I sound snobbish. I don't mean it. I just apologise for sending this in so early.
Well, and his wife don't mind.
But her boyfriend does, clearly. I mean, I get why the boyfriend would have an issue with it. But then again...
Why though?
Because maybe he feels like that's something that he should be doing. Or it's like... Do you know what I mean? It's like...
There's deeper issues there. This is what I'm trying to say. You're questioning...
Do you know what it is?
You're questioning our friendship. Because if my brethren... If her girl brethren bought it... If she had a girl female friend that was well off, had enough money, and bought the car, he's not saying nothing. You know what I'm trying to say?
It's an insecurity thing, 100%.
It's not the fact that it's the friend that bought it. It's the fact that it's a man that bought it.
And it makes him feel insecure. It threatens his position in her life, clearly. That's what it is.
But it's not. It shouldn't threaten his position with him. He's married with children.
Not to him. He's married.
No, I'm saying he shouldn't feel his position shouldn't feel threatened because of this other brother. Because the other brother,
he's married
it's not a single man. It's not, even though like you're saying best friends and people question the platonicness of the relationships between men and women or whatever. He's taken. He's off the market. He's got a wife and kids, and they sound like they're flourishing and thriving. You know what I'm trying to say? That so that man shouldn't make you feel threatened. So the insecurity is just that there's somebody else that can afford to look after your gal and you can't do it. Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is. That's what it sounds like.
He should just put himself on the insurance, man. It's our car. You know what I'm saying? I got a CLA now. Big yourself up, brother. Each and every time. I don't know.
That's what Anubis said as well. He basically said, look, if it was his girl would have been like, look, babe, we've got a car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Car, so, man. We're nice now. We're good. Because again, I think I'm just going to start asking different questions. Like, what exactly are you trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? Because if it's not innocent and if there is stuff going on and they're arrested, then you're within your rights to feel how you feel. You got grounds. Let's unpack this. But what about, think for a second, what about if I'm telling the truth and he's telling the truth and this is totally innocent and this is a friend looking out for me? Have you ever considered that? Because if that's the case, what's your problem? You get what I'm trying to say? And what exactly are you trying to say about me? Like, this is, it's different. Like, it's not about the car now. I turn everything into a personal attack, by the way. That's just smart.
I know who you are, boy.
Yeah, that's just my goal. That's just my go-to. This is a personal attack. This is about me, about what you're saying. And like, I don't understand. And if you think I'm this kind of person and what you're doing me in the first place, you might as well just go about your business. You got to create jeopardy. You got to. Some people need fear of loss. You get what I'm trying to say? It helps them think straight. You can't just chat shit to me. I digress.
Okay, well, there we are. That answers your question. All
right, we're gonna go into the last headlines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Overall, there was a 2.9% decrease in the number of sewage spills last year compared to 2003, according to water company data collected and analysed by the Environment Agency. Despite the small improvement in the number of events, the duration of the spills, which is basically the amount of time a water treatment plant discharges untreated sewage into a river or sea, this increased by 0.2%. Alan Lavelle, who is the chair of the Environment Agency, said this year's data shows we're still a long way off where we need to be to stop unnecessary sewage pollution. The EA, the Environment Agency, says that it has secured £10.2 billion from water companies to reduce sewage dumping. Next headline, and DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, is currently facing an unprecedented crisis of acute food insecurity, impacting 28 million individuals, which is an increase of 2.5 million in just the last 3 months. Recent insights from an integrated food security phase classification indicate that ongoing conflicts and rising food prices have plunged the DRC into a severe food crisis. The situation has escalated dramatically, with 28 million people now grappling with acute hunger, a significant rise attributed to the recent violence that erupted in December. And a spokesperson for the WFP in DR Congo highlighted the urgent need for resources and funding, stating that the humanitarian conditions are worsening rapidly, particularly for families already struggling to meet their basic needs. The crisis is especially severe in the eastern provinces, where conflict has stripped families of their livestock and livelihoods. Over 2 million internally displaced persons are facing extreme hunger, with 738,000 in critical conditions. The WFP, the World Food Programme, aims to assist 6.4 million people, but requires an additional $399 million to maintain operations through August 2025 due to anticipated funding shortages. And our last headline, French prosecutors on Thursday requested a 7-year prison sentence and a €300,000 fine for the former president, Nicolas Sarkozy, in connection with allegations that his 2007 presidential campaign was illegally financed by former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's government. The National Financial Prosecutor's Office, known by its French acronym PNF, is also called for a 5-year ban on Sarkozy's civic, civil, and family rights, a measure that would bar him from holding elected office or serving in any public judicial role. The case, which opened in January, is now expected to conclude on April 10th and is considered the most serious of the multiple legal scandals that have clouded Sarkozy's post-presidency. The 70-year-old Sarkozy, who led France from 2007 to 2012, faces charges of passive corruption, illegal campaign financing, concealment of embezzlement of public funds, and also criminal association. He has obviously denied any wrongdoing. And the accusations trace back to 2011, when the Libyan news agency and Gaddafi himself said that the Libyan state had secretly funneled millions of euros into Sarkozy's 2007 campaign. And that's it for the headlines. Time to pay them bills.
All right, before we wrap up, I've been doing the Googles.
What have you been doing, bro?
Please confirm with me if this is accurate. As you said, there are a lot of scholarly debate around this. Yes, you did say that.
Around what though? What exactly?
El and Yahweh.
Yeah.
Yes? Cool. So, confirm if this is what you believe to be true, yes, or what you've read. The Israelites worshipped different Canaanite gods. Is that accurate?
I need context. I need everything before I just agree to certain things. Are you reading something, or you just asked me in bits?
I have been reading, but I'm breaking down certain parts of what I have been reading. I want to know
so
if it is that you agree that the Israelites worshipped different Canaanite gods.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
One of them was Baal.
Okay.
I'm asking you if you believe this?
Yeah. I can't remember all of the names.
All right. One of them was El. And one of them was Hold up. Asher. We have Second Kings. My apologies. Hold up. Okay. Asherah.
Okay.
Heard that name?
Sounds familiar, but I can't.
All right. Cool. Now, they believed that there were many different gods, and they decided to choose which one they wanted to kind of worship. But then the God.
Are you telling me this as? Are you saying this as context? Are you saying this is what you believe? You're asking
This is not
me.
I'm reading this.
Oh, okay,
so I'm
cool.
asking you if this is what you believe. Yes?
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to ascertain. If you're reading something, or if you're asking me, or if you're saying what you
I am
believe.
currently reading something.
Okay, cool.
And I'm
Okay.
saying, do you believe what I'm reading?
All right, I'll wait for you to finish. Then I'll just.
Yeah, but I'm breaking it up so it's easier for you to
Yeah,
respond
but
to each
sometimes and I need.
part. Let me finish. Let me finish the sentence, right?
Because also be setting him up, because the way you're thinking it, you should just read the whole information. Wherever you found it, you should just read it to him.
There's a lot of information here, so I've plucked out some bullet points, and I want to know if this is what he believes.
Okay.
Are you following so far? I asked him one question about the three gods that the Israelites worshipped, and they were Canaanite gods. Did you follow that part?
Mm-hmm.
Have you followed that part?
Yeah.
All right. So when the God Yahweh came into the conversation, it wasn't wildly adopted because they had the other gods. However, they moved into adopting Yahweh as the one and only God. Do you agree so far?
Mm-hmm.
Are you following so far, Margs? Now, upon accepting Yahweh as the one and only God, they then destroyed all of the other idols of the gods that they worshipped and followed this one and only God. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree that I've just presented what I've read to Emmanuel, and you understand that?
Yeah, sounds like
What
he
do
said.
you grasp from that?
What Iman said before.
So you said that what I've just said is exactly what Emmanuel said.
Sounds like it.
Interesting. How about you, Emmanuel?
This is why I wanted you to say everything and put it up. So let me ask a question. Where did Yahweh come from?
I don't know that answer because I'm not sure what the construct of the question. When you say where did he come from? Are you saying where did El come from? Where did Baal come from? How?
I thought you established before that Yahweh and El was the same.
I asked him if it was the same, but it sounds as though he's saying they're not the same. In what I just broke down bit by bit, did you get that?
I'm saying
You didn't even
No.
mention El in that thing though. You just said
I
Yahweh.
did. The El was one of the gods that they worshipped. Baal, El, and Asherah, Canaanite gods. That's what I said in the beginning.
Yeah, and then it changed to say Yahweh.
So you're the wrong person to talk to because you're not following. That's why I broke it down like that.
No.
You didn't help how you're breaking it down. You don't.
Probably. It's
you're
my
not-
fault. It's my fault.
You're not doing what you think you're
It's
doing.
my fault. Sorry. I think I just offended you with what I said. I take that back. Sorry.
You can't offend me.
Okay.
Get your shit off.
All right. Go on, Emmanuel.
I can't remember. What's the last thing you said so I can remember what I was saying?
Mark said that what you just agreed upon was exactly what you said in the beginning.
Okay, yeah. Yes and no. So basically what it is, and this is the reason why I said I asked that question about where did Yahweh come from, because of what it sounded like. This is the reason why Mark said exactly what I said before, innit? Because where did Yahweh come from? If Israelites worshipped El, which is the Canaanite god, your whole premise starts kind of wrong, right?
No, Israelites worshipped El, Baal, and Asherah.
Yeah.
That's important
Why is it important?
because there are multiple gods there.
I know.
So it's not a one thing that they were worshipping. They were idol worshipping.
Why did they worship?
It was a plural thing
Yeah,
as
but
opposed
why?
to a mono thing
Why did they worship these different gods?
because they chose to.
Because they were Canaanites. They were Canaanites.
So
So what happened was when they've become Israelites, right? They've moved and distanced themselves from their previous culture. They've now, the same God that they were worshiping, that they got when they were Canaanites, has now been chosen as one.
stop. Now you're wrong. So initially, I think when you're now saying Israelites came from Canaan, so the Israelites were Canaanites.
They're
to begin with,
Canaanites,
right?
yes.
And when it is they now adopted a one God faith,
Yes.
they changed their name to Israelites. Is that what you're saying?
As in who they are?
You just said the Israelites
Yeah, but
were
you're-
Canaanites.
Yeah, you're rewriting something, isn't it? So what happens is it's kind of like
No,
me
stop.
asking you.
Don't go too fast.
Okay.
You just said just
know?
now that the Israelites were Canaanites.
Yes.
And when they adopted the one God Yahweh, they became Israelites.
I didn't say that they did it like that. What I'm saying to you is it's kind of like the Americans that you see. At one point in time, they were English. They're just English people. Australians, they were English people. Then they moved, right? And then you get amongst them Mormonism, for example. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if that Mormon guy, Joseph Smith, who started Mormonism, is able to say that same Mormon God, they were worshiping that same Mormon God in England, what does that tell you? What does it tell you? It tells you that this wasn't something that was unique to them that they got there when they moved away, but it was something that was practiced. But with time, with them forming their own culture, right, becoming their own people, you kind of maybe choose one, you choose two, something that codifies and unifies who you are as one.
All right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
All
And
right.
what I'm trying to say, there's a reason why in the beginning of the Bible, you're getting a lot of mention of El.
Stop. You're doing a disservice right now.
Talk to me, bro.
Because when I started, I told you that I want you to confirm whether you believe this.
Okay.
And I started with, did you believe that the Israelites who were Canaanites believed in three and worshipped three different gods? And you said yes.
Not necessarily three different, but different gods. Yeah.
The ones that I just mentioned are three. It's 1, 2, 3. Not that they all believe in the same thing, but
Wait, okay, let me ask you this though, just so I'm clear. Does it matter that it's three of them?
it could
or
be
just-
4, it could
okay,
be 5.
yeah, that's
it's just
basically-
more than
yeah,
one.
yeah, okay,
L,
fine,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
because initially you were saying that that's what they were doing, just worshiping L. You only mentioned L. That's all you mentioned. You only mentioned L.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But now I'm reading, I'm seeing that they were worshipping different gods, and those particular gods were Canaanite gods,
But-
right?
Yeah, okay, cool, go on.
Am I misrepresenting this?
No, but it's just because you made a point to say I only mentioned El. In my head, I'm thinking everyone was worshiping multiple
Don't
gods.
say that because
remember-
initially when Black Rob was on here,
Yeah.
you just specifically talked about L.
Yes, but you have to remember that I also said to Black Rob, monotheism started in Egypt. So I know in wherever Canaan and Israel was or is, those people, they had multiple gods. So when I'm saying El, I'm only speaking about El because El is the only God that Israel attributes to be divine and the true God in the Bible. That's the reason why I'm speaking about El.
What, say that again?
El being the supreme being in the Bible.
As in Elohim.
Yes.
That's what you're saying, basically.
Yes.
All right, I'll put a pin on that because I do believe I've read something that talks to that, as in language as opposed to being, right? and you could smile, but if you're then saying that there's scholarly debate, you can say that you've read all of the debates and you've decided you believe this thing, right?
I'm not saying that my position is the main division, the main position everyone should go by.
Stop. I need you to understand. I don't see the Bible just as the only record of God. I told you before it compiled, before the first book was created, God still was.
This is what I
so
said
you can't use just the Bible to tell me that the existence of the first is in the Bible.
But this is what I said to you.
To Rob.
This is what I said exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
The way you see things is
I'm
different
now
to how
talking
other
to you.
Christians.
I'm now
Alright,
talking
good,
to you.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Cool. All right, cool. So I want to make this very, very brief because I'm here. I know it might be annoying to some people, but it was important for me to basically, touch on it, seeing as I was reading what I was reading. From what I understood from the text I'm reading is that there were the worship of many different gods.
Yeah.
And then this particular God, Yahweh, is now saying, hey, I'm the one and true God.
Okay.
Everybody else, they're not like me.
So go back to the beginning of that sentence.
I am the one and true God.
No, sorry. The beginning of when you just
In the
started.
beginning, people they were worshiping different gods. When I
Okay.
say people, I'm talking about the Israelites. You're talking about right now, right?
Cool.
Canaan. And just to understand this, if there were Canaanites, there were also other like civilizations dotted around the earth. Yeah, and they had their own. They worshipped their own beings and this and next. You understand? So this particular people who came from Canaan, they now have been introduced to this other entity, which is Yahweh. Yes? And it was not wildly. Yeah? You only call them Israelites after they leave.
No, I'm only
Canaan.
asking you. I'm asking you.
I'm referring to the same people you're referring to when it is that you were talking to Black Rob.
So when they were in Canaan, you're saying they were introduced to Yahweh.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And then when they left now, they adopted a singular God, a monotheistic belief system. Yes. And that particular person at the top or being at the top was now Yahweh, right?
Okay.
So if that is to be true, they've left the worshipping of Baal, Asherah, and El, and now focused on just Yahweh. And Yahweh now instructs them, remove all of the graven images of the other gods in which it is that you used to worship.
Didn't you just say Yahweh was El or comes from it? That's
He said that they were the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. So why are you talking like it's not like it's?
Because Brent's trying
That's
to.
what I'm reading.
Brent is trying to say basically. I feel like I'm just going to repeat, but he's basically trying to say that these guys were everyone was just wayward, worshiping different gods. But then at some point in time, Yahweh introduces himself to a particular sect within Canaan.
And it was not widely received because of
And then they left and worshipped only Yahweh.
Yes, and then Yahweh says, do not bring your pagan worship over here. Remove all those idols that you were worshipping before, including Baal, Asherah, and El. Remove it.
Yeah.
I am the only one in God, true God.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahweh is not El then?
No. That's what I'm reading.
Have you established that though? Because
No,
that's not what
he
you said.
says it's the same. That's why I was saying.
This is what that's why I need to think, because you're confusing the situation. You need to establish some kind of premise for you to have the conversation, because you're saying two different things. Is Yahweh El or derived from it, or is it two separate things?
I am saying it's two. He's saying it's one.
Yes, but that's okay.
So
cool.
Mark's saying, so who's right? Right?
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because you're just the way you're talking, it doesn't make sense. Like, because what you're saying, if what you're saying is cool, but if you take into consideration what he's saying, it's like, duh, like, yeah, you're confused.
I don't understand what you're saying. Please explain a bit better. It's different. Explain different to me. What he just said, explain it to me, Emmanuel.
He already said that they was worshipping the Canaanites. He's saying it's the same thing, because the Canaanites was worshipping El, and then when they moved that to different situation, and then El became Yahweh, and then Yahweh became the one.
You see what he just did just now?
Yeah.
What is wrong with what he just did?
I don't know. What do we?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, he's saying that. I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Me.
That's what
I
he was
know
saying.
what Emmanuel is saying. I am contesting it. I am saying they are not the same God. I am contesting it.
Okay.
He introduced it. I am contesting it.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, cool. So, obviously, we're going to wrap up. But do you know why I am contesting it?
No, Emmanuel. I didn't know that you were. So you're now contesting what I am saying. But your point was the original point.
which is basically different to what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know why I'm saying it's different to what you're saying?
Go.
Okay, the reason, again, for me, none of this matters, right? But the reason is because in the Bible, before you get the introduction of Yahweh, you have El.
And Baal and Asherah.
No, not in the same way. No.
Then explain that bit.
I'm telling you. So what I'm saying to you is in the beginning, when you're hearing Elohim, it's
You're referencing the Bible again.
What do you mean?
You're referencing the Bible, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, I just told you. Forget about that. Go from the before. Remember the account in which it is that we're even talking about?
Yeah.
It's because you plucked it from the Bible, yes?
Okay.
Yes, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Cool.
go.
So before the Bible was now put together, what was?
You have to be specific. What do you mean? What do you mean? What was? Was there culture there? Was there other text?
There was
What are you
culture.
saying?
There was language.
Okay.
There was everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's not reference the Bible when. Oh, no, that's very stupid.
I have to reference the Bible because I'm saying
the Black Rob introduced this. Wait a minute. Stop. Your point is that if we're using El in the Bible, it's the El in which it is that you're referring to, and if this comes after Yahweh is introduced. I'm changing time sequences.
Yeah.
The Bible is created, but before the Bible, there was all this thing going on that the Bible even documented. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So
yeah.
you mentioning El, I'm doing a very, very poor job. I apologize, people.
No, keep going.
Before you mentioned El,
Yeah.
no, I'm cognizant I'm doing a very poor job. Let me place it in my mind. In the beginning, you said that El and Yahweh are the same.
Yeah, they become the same. You have to understand something. Shall I try and explain it all again?
No, yes, please, but go slowly.
Okay, cool. What I'm basically saying is, and again, my disclaimer is this. To me personally,
It doesn't matter.
This is why it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it for a reason, right? Because I believe this is just part of evolution of ideas and concepts.
Yes.
When you're hearing in the Bible, El, Elohim, all this sort of stuff, people are saying, oh, it's not the same thing. All right, cool. Where do you think El comes from?
And this is the
Understand
bit,
the meaning,
all right,
guys.
Thank you. This is the
Okay.
bit I'm getting confused at trying to articulate, because what you're doing now, you're quoting the Bible right now, and I can understand why you're saying, Brent, you can't use that if in the Bible you're believing and
Thank
saying
you. Yes.
El is the God.
Thank you.
Now, what I am saying is there is language here that you have to factor in.
Talk to me.
There is, what does El mean? When you break it down.
I can't remember.
And that is what I'm reading here, that there has been analysis based on the use of the word El and the lack of any other word used. For example, if you just want to call a deity a thing, you will call it a thing. But if you now cement that name as the previous thing, something else existed as, because the only word you used for that thing is that, then it's different. Do you understand?
What's different?
L.
Okay, go on.
L.
Yeah, that's because I could say that's because you want it to be different, though. Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I believe that you are making it extra difficult. And that's a loud shout, obviously, because I've butchered everything here. But why I'm saying that you're making it extra difficult is because in the beginning, your initial statement.
I'm going.
No, the thing is, no.
I've gone.
I need to. No, do you know why? Yeah, I actually have to be some back 12, and I'm being patient. But
No,
I can't leave because you're blocking me.
I love.
Maya, go on with the car, please.
I love Brent, yeah, because obviously I can't get in your mind, but obviously you've been around you a lot, and I know how your mind works, and you need to explain this properly to him so he can work this out. Like,
Yeah, because I don't know if he's being willfully obtuse with where I'm sat, or if it is he really doesn't understand how I'm describing it. And I know I butcher things a lot.
Everything you're saying, I know exactly what you mean. I'm saying to you, though, I think that's because we have hindsight. And that is the convenient, the nice way to dress up something. But I'm saying to you that, to me personally, even if they were two different gods and they became one, it doesn't matter to me personally. Why? Because there was only one to begin with. There were different expressions of this one God. At least we perceived different expressions of this one God. But with time, we came to realize, wait a minute, why do we think this is this God here and this God does this and this God does this? No, this is just one God. Or it could be a situation where it's like, wait a minute, like the only idea that we have for God or the name that we have. This is why I asked earlier before. Do you see God being a name or a descriptive term for a supreme being that exists? That's basically why I was saying that. Because a lot of the time, let me move the car. But you get what I'm trying to say?
No, hold on to that. But yes, and that's where I think I understand where you're coming from as to why you asked the initial question. But I'll wind that back up. But please, I apologize. You can go.
Can we get a topic of the day of this next week? Because I feel like if you spend the weekend really researching and getting your ducks in a row so you can line E-Man up and pop.
No, but I think I already have, because I do believe
you haven't.
I think he's being disingenuous with what he had initially said, because he had said they were two different, and I just presented that they're not two different. I mean, he said that they were one God, and I've shown that they are two different gods.
He said they were the main one. That there's lots you haven't done as good a job as debunking.
No,
as you think.
I know that I haven't articulated myself well in the exchange, but I do believe that from the back and forth, when you were there saying, Brent, what do you believe? Where do you stand? I'm thinking it's two, and you're saying, what? Doesn't Emmanuel? No, Emmanuel doesn't. Emmanuel basically thinks this is the same one.
Yeah, I know that.
And the original issue I took was when Black Rob was on here, he said when he goes and does his research and finds out this, what, that, and the next, it's going to shake his faith, and then he's going to come up with some sort of explanation as to not believe what he saw. Do you understand? So I'm now hearing this L for the first time, right? So I've started looking, because the implications of what he is saying suggest that I am following a Canaanite god. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but even with what you read, that's why I said I think you should get your ducks in a row.
When I say Canaanite god, I'm talking about like a
but
god
initially
that was
the ones
idol.
that you said El, Baal, and the other one.
Asherah.
Yeah, and then when it comes into Yahweh, that wasn't.
You did it again. When it comes into Yahweh, what does that mean?
Because when the Israelites like it changed, and he's saying it starts.
You just said it changed. What does that mean?
That they was referring to El as Yahweh.
There you go. You've connected it like how Emmanuel connected it.
Yeah, but even when you've said that, but in that text, what you read, you only mentioned three gods. You didn't mention that Yahweh wasn't in the. You said that they were praising multiple gods, and you didn't say Yahweh. You didn't say Yahweh.
Repeat what I said.
So what you're trying to say is Yahweh came, but he's.
Thank you very much. So you heard what I said.
Yeah, but it's like when you say but it came to a different thing to the Israelites.
The contention with calling them Israelites is what we also went back and forth. He said that they only became Israelites after they adopted Yahweh as the one and only true God.
And this is why I feel like you don't need to go and get your ducks to roll so you can have the shootout properly, because some of the stuff that you're saying is I don't think you're doing what you think you're doing right now.
And it's simple for you to just say that after we've just ascertained back and forth that you don't know what you're talking about.
Because of the information that you're throwing out here.
You're blaming me.
Yeah, very much so.
That's all right. I could take the blame. I don't mind. Accountability. I don't mind.
No, I'm saying load up and have so you can have the fight properly, because I don't
actually want to basically
debunk what he's saying.
No, I don't want to bully or force this onto the listening public. I don't know if it is that they want.
They're lapping it up in the chat.
I'm only doing it now because it's at the end of the weekend.
No, but they're definitely
the week. Sorry,
they're definitely fine in the chat though. They're fine in the chat, right? So I feel like you could do it.
I could do what?
Take down E-Man.
This is. I'm not doing that. Remember, I'm a born Christian. So what he said in the beginning, it spoke directly to me. And with any human being, if it is that they feel as though they are quote unquote addressed or attacked, they are going to defend themselves, right? So this is information. That's why I told Emmanuel he shouldn't sit down or keep his mouth closed on truth, right? Or whatever he believes to be truth. Share it. Share the knowledge. Let people now look to, wrestle with it, discern what is, what isn't, and let them do their own research. But don't gatekeep it. Do you understand? Share it. And him sharing it now, I've now gone to do some Googles, and I've can you imagine, even the Baal and the Asherah, the mother effing fallen angels. This is my understanding now. Do you understand? This is how I'm seeing this. Yes, of course they were gods. And I'm sure there were different civilizations that had their own gods. They're all full of flipping fallen angels. But then Yahweh came to say, hey. Now, bear in mind, Yahweh could have presented himself to another sect somewhere else on the earth. Was it Pangea, whatever you call it, right? And now that particular person has now come to Canaan to say, hey, here's this good news. Here is this particular entity that I worship. It's the only one and true God. You all need to basically depart from what you're doing. They had to receive the information from somewhere. Do you understand? So whoever was the messenger was, whether it was God himself, I don't know.
And
right?
this is why I say to you, to me, it doesn't matter. Because my view is, I believe God sometimes reveals parts of himself, right, to human beings.
Let me just finish my thought.
on.
Because I kind of parallel it to today. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. I kind of parallel it today where people would have their own gods. That gods don't need to be part of any religion. It could be lust. It could be the love of money. It could be all this. And then they are introduced to whether it's Allah, whether it's Jesus Christ, whether it's whoever. And they are now, Jesus Christ. And they are now conflicted, and they're arrested, and they now say, yes, this is the thing I believe is the true deity I need to basically worship and follow and love. And then they give up all the other quote-unquote idols that govern their life, their belief system, and then they go. So I see it as a parallel to that. So when you initially intimated that El and Yahweh were the same thing, obviously I'm like, whoa. To now find out El wasn't the only God they worshipped in Canaan. There were other gods. I'm thinking, okay, then when Yahweh now was introduced to them, I don't know how. I don't know whether it was God, whether it was an angel, whether it was a man, a prophet, I don't know. But whatever it was, they separated themselves from Canaan to form their own culture and belief system. Yeah. And that is who they worshipped. Yeah. Do you understand?
Cool. I hear what you're saying, man.
I hope that last part was clear enough for everybody. I hope it is. I haven't lost anybody in that last part. I apologize for the gobbledygook in the first part. All right, can we do the wrap up?
Yes, do it.
All right.
All right, people. It's been a good.
Sorry, and I'm not saying that El, Asherah, and Baal were the only gods that people were worshipping. There were many other gods, and I'm sure there were even gods in Egypt, right?
For sure.
Yeah, there were gods all over the gaff. Over the gaff.
They were all Canaanite gods.
Even the gods from Egypt?
No, the ones you're talking about in Canaan. They're all Canaanite gods. Yep. And with time, people, I guess next time we'll talk about it, innit? But basically that's what happens, man. Like, to me, it's just not an issue. It's just not an issue because I feel like human beings, we perceive God in different ways. And with time, certain people have maybe a better understanding, and so you kind of adopt that particular idea. But overall, I think a lot of the time, these names we have for God are just names, descriptions of him, rather than his personal name. Do you get what I'm saying? That's sometimes, unless obviously like, the Christians basically, or the Hebrews even, then said, no, Yahweh is his personal name. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But to me, it's like, there's evolution to it. There's evolution. And me personally, I'm just not scared of evolution. I'm not scared of the idea that these thoughts, these ideas evolved with time. Just say God did it. That's it. Just say God was the one who introduced himself to you differently. You know what I'm saying? At different times. He knew this would happen, and you met this person, and Abraham left Ur of the Chaldeans and he moved across Mesopotamia. You know what I'm saying? Then he settled there in Israel and Canaan. Then they met those gods there, and all that is fine to me though. But for other people, it's not fine. And I think that's the issue. Because when they realize that some of the stuff that they thought was not historically accurate, they become a bit jittery. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is why I like to keep my mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? And if you're happy, you're happy. As long as your idea makes you feel good, that's beautiful. But personally, as black people, I don't think we always have the luxury of being, choosing sides and dividing ourselves. Just like that story I shared the other day when Bobby Kasanga was in prison. You know what I mean? That's just a perfect example right there. Someone has a belief system, he sides with somebody that is in the outside world may represent an enemy. Do you get what I'm saying? But because of your belief system, which didn't even come from your culture anyway, you're now out there doing certain things. But that's just my 2 cents. Sorry, my 2 cents was like 20 quid. You know what I mean? But today we spoke about King Charles and how he's cancelled speaking engagements. Why? Because he's experiencing temporary side effects after some cancer treatment. You know, wishing he's okay. We spoke about Starmer and Macron basically warning Trump and saying, yo, Vladimir Putin cannot be trusted. He's playing games with you guys. He's playing games with you, Vance and Trump. We also spoke about the doctor who rushed her seriously ill son to Homerton Hospital, and he later passed away from sepsis. And she basically, who is a doctor? She's a doctor, by the way. She blamed the hospital for not taking his symptoms seriously enough. And we also spoke about Trump branding the fallout of the whole signal message leak as a witch hunt. He spoke about Trump also announcing 25% tariffs on cars and car parts imported into the US. And we spoke about UK inflation falling, you know what I mean, more than expected in February. Obviously, we've not had time to talk about Chancellor Rachel Reeves' spring statement, but next week, God willing, we shall do so. We spoke about the Environment Secretary saying it's a disgraceful amount of sewage that's still being dumped into English rivers. And obviously, they're charging us as if they've cleaned up the whole damn place. Also, we spoke about UN agencies warning of an escalating food crisis that's due to the conflict in Congo, especially in the eastern part of Congo. And we also learned that the ex-president of France, Sarkozy, it looks like he's in trouble, man. Apparently, he's facing a 7-year sentence and a large fine because he might have had his campaign bankrolled by the Libyans, by Gaddafi. You know what I mean? And of course, asking for a friend, we had an amazing dilemma by my Yoruba sister. Message me, man, so we can dialogue. And obviously, we had some other dilemmas that we spoke about. And topic of the day, we spoke about racism, man, and how a diet isn't necessarily racist. But yeah, it's been a great one. What is this, Brent?
So Dax has just sent the TDA Instagram that.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you vouch for that message? Even though you have pressed play.
I don't know what it is.
Did you know the people that's on there?
No, I don't know.
Oh, serious?
Let me see. I think I know this brother on the right, but I don't know.
You don't know him?
No, I don't know him.
Okay.
Don't know him. But he's got some Kemet iconography.
Yeah. The Hotep stuff.
Kemet.
Kemet stuff.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I don't know. I'll need to listen to that video, watch that video.
Yeah. Question, Mr. Historian. The Canaanite timeline.
Yeah.
Can you bring some clarity on that?
When it was?
Yeah.
Which stage are we talking about though?
The stage in which it is we're talking about.
But I believe these things happen over a long period of time. I don't necessarily believe they happened. Like, if I give you a timeline of like, I don't know, 1 to 2000 BCE, it doesn't really help with anything, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like these cultures, I don't know, they've happened over such a long time. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't really
Fair.
speak to that.
When the Canaanites, who were now believing in Yahweh, became Israelites, what was happening in Egypt?
What do you mean what was happening?
So I've just basically identified a time
Okay.
I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know what time that is. What time is that when the Israelites kind of broke from, Canaanites became Israelites and broke from Canaanites?
I would have to go back and give you a date.
And
but
I don't need a
it's
specific date, but
yeah. But what you're saying,
parallel to that area
I mean,
in Egypt.
Kemet was a civilization that was a full-fledged civilization. They weren't a baby culture. No disrespect to the Canaanites, but they weren't. Like, every pyramid was built. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they had established their pantheon and all that sort of stuff. This is why what Akhenaten did was such a huge thing, because again, he was named after Amen-Ra, hence his name being Amenhotep IV. But he changed it and said, wait a minute, I believe there's only one God, the Son, this God. Now, you may say he's the father of monotheism or maybe the father of henotheism. in that he acknowledged the existence of other gods, pretty much like your belief system, Brent, right? But he didn't care for them. He only believed there was one supreme being, and he gave all praise to Aten, right? And this is the reason why he was done with all the other gods and stuff. But this is why the Egyptian or Kemet priesthood at the time, they didn't like him. Because many different reasons. You're breaking tradition. But also, like, you put them out of a job. Immediately. You know what I'm saying? We don't care for what you're saying before. It's all about Aten and not Amun-Ra and all the other people, right? Gods. And so, yeah, needless to say, he didn't live too long. You know what I'm saying? He was probably killed, and he moved the capital from man, it's been such a long time.
No, that's right. You're doing great.
But he basically moved the capital, and him and his followers went and worshipped Aten, and that was what was allowed at the time. But when he was killed or he died prematurely, whatever happened to him, every figure that you see of Akhenaten has been disfigured or destroyed. They wanted to remove him from the history of Kemet. You know what I'm saying? But that is. Most scholars agree that was the first time that mankind pretty much has the idea of monotheism. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Okay. In the Bible, does it say God telling his people not to worship the gods of the Canaanites?
Probably, yeah. In fact, it should do.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly. Which is perfect.
Huh?
Which is perfect.
Which is perfect?
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, I know. But what it simply tells me is that there is a distinction between the two.
What two?
Well, the belief system that who he's talking about, his people are talking about, worshipping, and the belief system that the Canaanites subscribe to.
Whose people? What's the first thing?
So I first asked you. If
I
Bible,
understand that part, yeah. But I'm saying you said
just repeat it. So, because I don't want you to be confused. Just repeat it.
Repeat what?
What I said.
You said there's a distinction between the people who worshipped.
Go back a little bit about the in the Bible. Does God say that you shouldn't worship?
You shouldn't worship the Canaanite gods.
All right. Now I said from that understanding, I take that to mean there is a distinction between the two belief systems.
Of course.
All right.
100%.
Okay.
You've left them now, Brent. You've left.
Good.
You've said to yourself, we don't want to be associated with these people anymore.
Good.
What we were doing before is done.
Good.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Good.
So you have to say that yours is different. But what I'm saying is the thing that you're calling different came from when you was there.
Yeah, and
do you get what I'm saying?
That is my disagreement. This is where is that I wholeheartedly don't believe, based on the limited research I've just conducted, because when I asked about what was happening in Egypt, you told me that yes, they had their own fully fledged civilization over there, and they also had their different gods over there, right?
Yeah.
I do believe that Yahweh would have also been present there in some form, fashion, in whatever small group of people.
In Egypt?
Yeah, in Egypt.
Why do you believe that?
Just this is my assumption, that I don't think God just first appeared to the Canaanites, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Only because of the timeline, right?
Yeah, no, but that's good, because remember I even told you in there's evidence that there was a cult of Yahweh in Egypt, in Kemet.
What? Okay, so you see, I just never mind this. This is why I get so confused with talking to you, and I don't know if you're doing it on purpose.
No, but you have to remember
I don't know if you're doing it on purpose.
You have to remember though, Brent. Yeah, all these topics are so layered, man. They're like, there's so many things that's going to feed into the conversation from different angles.
But let's do that. Don't look to talk to me as though you are trying to reason with me, as opposed to confuse me.
I'm not trying to confuse you.
No. I just.
But you have to remember, there's so much information that is you're trying to bring to somebody in 5 minutes. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, but that's why I take it bit by bit by bit by bit. I don't want to become overwhelmed so that the gray area or the obscurity seeps in and confuses. Your brain could hold all of that and still reason. I can't do that. That's not how my brain works. Do you understand? Okay. When I feel as though you've just jumped off of the track of what I'm trying to hone in on, I get confused, right? And agitated. And I raise my voice because I think you're doing it on purpose, right? But if it is not doing on purpose...
But why do you think I'll do that on purpose?
Because in my mind, I am giving you the opportunity to address everything in its totality as opposed to just bum rushing stuff. I think that for me, is the best way to analyze things or to converse. Let's set an understanding and then go off from there and then go off from there.
I hear you. But there's so many different things that some of these things are not going to come to you right then. As you develop the conversation, you say, oh, yes, but also to back up this, there was this. And this occurred, and this happened, and da-da-da. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just for example, I just asked you just now, you've said this, the timeline for the Canaanites, what was happening in Egypt, and then you said fully fledged descendants, cool, and I said, I believe that Yahweh would have been there also, and he said, huh? Why do you say that? And then you said, but remember, there was the cult of Yahweh in Egypt. So...
No, because I was surprised to hear that you say that. Because I think it's a good way, it's good that you thought that. And then I didn't put something in there to back up your idea.
Yeah, but do you understand the implication of you now introducing that? If there was a cult of Yahweh in existence, whilst it is the Canaanites worshipped different gods, and one of them being El, right? You immediately admit that there are two different names for one different name for two different gods, right? There is Yahweh and there's El in the same time period. You've literally intimated that based on what you just said.
What do you mean by time period?
I asked you about Cain.
I'll tell you why. Because it could mean anything. I could then say, wait a minute, the cult of Yahweh means that the Israelites only knew about Yahweh when they left Egypt. And if I bring that to the conversation, that will confuse you more. Because then we have to really look at timelines. Because prior to the Exodus, Abraham was there. Prior to the Exodus, Isaac was there. Jacob was there. So how would they have known about Yahweh prior if they only knew about him when they got into Egypt in captivity? Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
Why?
I know, as in why don't I get what you're saying? Because I don't know if it's pertinent to the point that I had asked you. And I'm still there. You've gone into something else.
Because this is what I'm trying to say to you, because it makes the conversation more convoluted and confusing. So I was only saying that just to back up what you were saying. But you're now basically saying, why am I doing that? I'm making it seem a particular way. But I'm saying if I really wanted to do that, I could make it far more by giving more information about it and saying this actually could be confusing for the overall viewpoint. Because if we want to say that, again, I don't want to go down that confusing point, but I'm trying to say that it doesn't always link up in the way that we hope it would. That's what I'm trying to say to you. But it's a very long conversation, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I have no problem with. I can.
We'll bore the people.
I can understand. I can stop this stream and still talk to you about this. I have no problem with long conversation. It's the fact that obviously we're putting out a product right now. And God, please, people, y'all could leave. I am not holding you here. I am literally not holding you here. I'm now talking to Emmanuel. Y'all can go. Goodbye. Thank you very much. You guys are lovely. We love you. We'll be back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Peace.
Why are you looking it up? Or you mean
I'm not. I'm talking to you.
Or you saying
whoever stayed? It's not. It's not by force.
I do need to go though.
That's fine. But that's fine.
But let me just read out what Black Rob just said there. His thingy. He's basically said, okay, it's all coming together now. El literally meant God, while the Canaanite El and Yahweh were distinctly different gods, which is, I believe, what you're saying.
Yes.
It wasn't an evolution, rather than it was the El title.
Language.
Also
Mama
being
told you
used.
about that.
Yep.
Yes.
Also being used for the God of the Bible as the title of the God.
That's what I
know.
I told you about the language. Maybe it's just that.
That's what I'm saying. It could just be that, but it might not just be that. Why? Because they were very familiar with El. Do you get what I'm saying? So to you today, you're saying El just means God. If it just meant God, then what did Baal mean? Why is only El meaning God, but Baal means, I don't know, fire, or this means that, or this means that? So in the existence of, again, it's a very long conversation, but
stop saying that. No, nobody's here has been forced to be here. Stop saying that.
All right, cool. We'll set aside another time. And
no, I don't think we should look to
put the people
force it. I don't think we should force it onto them at all, whatsoever.
Okay.
So Emmanuel, the leaving of Abraham, or the Exodus from Egypt, and you're talking about what you're recording in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
All right. That timeline,
yeah,
is that adjacent to the Canaanites? The Canaanites breaking off and becoming Israelites.
You're gonna dislike me if I say what I'm gonna say next.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does because it will end the conversation.
No. Are you saying what are you gonna say next? It doesn't matter.
No, I'm gonna say that we have to use the Bible and we have to use a bit of faith here. Why? Because many would argue there was no evidence of a real life exodus of people from Egypt coming out. And if that's the case, then we can't use a real timeline. So we have to kind of use a bit of faith and say, let's work our way back and da-da-da. So it will be a bit sketchy. That's basically what I'm trying to say to you. It will be a bit sketchy.
Let me just get correct what you just said.
Yeah.
We can't use the Bible as like a timeline now.
No, I'm saying we have to, that's the only way we can do it.
So
Because
what you just said
if
just now, there's no evidence, in your opinion, that there's been an exodus of people out of Egypt.
Like real life archaeological evidence.
What is the evidence supposed to look like?
Just something else, I guess, outside of the Bible. Maybe documentation from the Medinecha that speaks of the people that were there, that were enslaved for a particular time, and they left.
Correct me
Even
if
if it
I'm
was
wrong.
that we killed them or we did whatever.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Any of the citations that you've made about Kemet and you mentioned a few different things, and I kept on pressing like this.
Medinecha.
Yeah. Is it that you've read it somewhere?
I read what, the Medinecha? Or
You
read what?
referenced it,
Yeah.
right? Did you read that somewhere?
Yes.
All right. And you believed it to now use it as a point of argument, yes?
I guess so, yeah.
Can you validate that it is true?
What exactly though? What exactly?
Everything that you've used in your argument, you've referenced script.
No, because
or
what I
pieces of
just
text.
said, what I just said in the argument is that there wasn't evidence. So I can't use something to show something that's not there. I'm basically saying to you, because there are many people. Some people believe.
You started by saying that you have to just use the Bible and have faith that it is true. But you said that there's no evidence of an exodus from Egypt.
Outside
and
of
I
the
asked you,
Bible,
how
yes.
do you quantify that evidence?
Yeah.
And you said
There's no writings, for example.
no writings
Yeah.
other than the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. So the references of the things that you said when I did that,
Yeah, the Medinecha.
is the Medinecha some sort of
It's like the hieroglyphs.
all right, cool.
That's what it is.
And you haven't read those, but you've read the translations, yes?
Yeah, I can't read Medinecha.
Focus on the translation part.
Yeah.
All right.
I've not read. Of course, I've not read all of them. Nowhere.
No, but
near.
whatever you've referenced, it's
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, of course.
And do you believe it?
I guess I believe it to be a story told by the people at the time. So again, I'm not there, but it's based on evidence and based on the people, the civilization, the fact that they were people who wrote things down. They did things. The Israelites at the time did none of this. None of this. Everything that we see in terms of the Hebrew writings and stuff comes after the fact. It comes out. It doesn't happen in the time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Beautiful. So what I get you is saying you place more trust and faith in those particular hieroglyphic
No.
texts
It's not that I
than
place
the
more.
Bible.
It's not that I place
Because,
more.
the people at the time who wrote those hieroglyphics were practitioners of those crafts of writing and documenting that
Some
particular
things
way.
is just
But
is documentation.
But
yeah.
the Israelites and the Canaanites and whatnot didn't have that.
At the time, no, of course not.
Did the hieroglyphic text reference the Canaanites and these other cultures and people?
Yeah, but remember the hieroglyphs are happening over like thousands of years. You've got different stages. You've got different things written in different ways. You've got different kingdoms coming in, conquering Egypt. You've got different interactions. You've got letters from this king to this pharaoh to that king, or you've got so many different things. You know, all it is just it's like you looking at the UK or the British Empire from since 1066 to today, and saying what's in there. So all it is it's just a case of. Again, I'm not trying to doubt the stories. I don't put this above this. I'm not interested in any of those things. To me, I can compartmentalize and I can marry ideas. That's just me, though.
But that's a little tricky because when you say there's no evidence to support any mass exodus from Egypt, you are making a stance, somewhat of a statement that I don't know if it is. I can
I'm
put
not.
so much trust in this record.
No, but also I also have the viewpoint that even if it didn't happen, I don't care. But I am saying though that just because the evidence is not outside the Bible doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, it sounds like you're saying that I could be saying that. I'm making a stance to say because there's no evidence outside the Bible, it didn't happen. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying to you, sometimes you find evidence tomorrow that never was there for 1,000 years. It happens all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm simply saying though, for that conversation that you wanted to have a minute ago,
Yep.
when you're talking about timelines,
Yep.
I'm simply saying the timeline that we have to use
Yep.
has to be very much influenced by the Bible, and only that.
Yes.
And when you have that,
Yes.
sometimes you have overlaps with things that don't really match up when you look at the timeline of archaeology.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because some things are just written wrong. There's
Yes.
anachronisms all over the damn place.
Yes.
It just is what it is.
Yes. Just so you're aware, if you are speaking to somebody or a group of people, right, and they've asked a particular question, it's a question I asked, right?
Yeah.
And then you say the only reference point to answer this particular question will have to be in this particular text, whereas this particular text is no guaranteed verification that this is true. They're going to think, I have to weigh this up then, because it may not be true. Based on what you've just said, there's no assurance, there's no security in you believing in this. So I have to be like, no, this isn't strong enough to basically sway my opinion. Do you understand? I'm just letting you know, when you say things like that, when you say that there's no evidence that there's been a mass exodus, it places
no
doubt.
archaeological evidence. Yeah.
Archaeological evidence. It places doubt in people's minds.
This is why I don't like to talk about it.
No, don't do that.
No, I'm not trying
do
to. I'm
that.
not,
Just
I'm,
be
I'm not
aware.
I'm not trying to be annoying.
I'm not saying you're trying to be annoying. Just be aware of when you say things, the implications
I'm fully aware.
would be this.
I'm fully aware, Brent.
Okay.
This is. I know you don't want me to say it, but this is the reason why I don't like to say certain things, because not everybody, and I don't mean to sound arrogant or whatever. Not everybody is prepared to have those conversations with themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Remember, nobody is here but me and you.
No, there's people in the chat though. But
Forget
you,
about
no,
that.
no, but you get what I'm trying to say though. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just not interested in trying to make people have doubt in their belief system. I have no interest in that at all, Brent. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I don't say certain things. I just because so what? You know what I'm saying? So what? It makes you do good and be a great person.
Just like to kind of go on the side of the person who sent in the dilemma. It sounds as though she is in a state of confusion, earnest confusion. She actually wants some sort of reprieve, right? And she's reached out to you specifically because she feels as though you might have that particular answer or answers for her to give her that reprieve. That's why I am saying it's so important to let people feel as though they are represented in this particular room.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
For you to say, no, that's why I don't want to talk. It's dismissing and not having like a champion for all those people who would just die for someone to reflect their identity or their existence in this particular room. So never be afraid to basically speak what you believe, man.
It's nothing to do with being afraid at all. This is why I said to the person, message me, I'll have the conversation. But I'm aware that other people are listening. And to me, it may just listen. To you, it may not matter, but to me, it matters that it might make somebody who's not as solid in their faith, or somebody who don't have the time to interrogate certain things, and you know what I mean? Like every single person, Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever it may be, Buddhist, a lot of the time they take time to listen to imams. They take time to listen to pastors. They take time to listen to apologetics and all these things. Why? Because they want strength in their particular faith. They want to be able to defend their belief system. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. Because they want to keep believing for the most part. Some people are not going to apologetics if they're Christian to question them. They're going there because they might have heard something over there and thought, nah, I need a rebuttal for this. I need to make sure that what I believed for the last 50 years is right. What's the answers, Wes? What's the answers, Black Rob? You know what I'm saying? Like, That's
Why
what
did you say
happens.
Wes just now?
No, because everyone loves Wes now, innit? You know what I'm saying? People been doing what Wes has been doing for decades. But big up Wes though. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm trying to say. So
I believe that there are forums and platforms that are just for Christians. There are forums and platforms that are just for Muslims. There are forums and platforms that are just for atheists, right? And even within that particular faith system, there are subsectors or sub forums, right? And people look to and stay where it is that they feel that they belong. We've said from the beginning of this particular show, there's going to be a reflection of society in this room, right? And that, what happened?
So that's what Finance said. Wes is a liar. Why is he a liar? sorry to cut you. Go on, Brent.
There's a reflection of society in this room. That means that there are different sets of consciousness in this room, at different levels and different stages of wanting to be taught or wanting to learn and receive. And that's why this makes this so beautiful. For the same reason, we've started Discord to open up that particular pool of options, voice-wise, for that same reason.
Yeah.
I can't ever look to say, I'm now going to now change this to whatever makes me feel comfortable because I don't want to hear what you're saying. And vice versa with anybody else in here. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? I open up a Discord so that people could come and look to educate. And that's the easiest way for us to realize at every single point, everybody is a human being and just trying to find a place where they belong. Yeah. Right? And they're trying to basically be understood or understand.
Yes.
Right? That's a reflection of what this is. Yeah. So I take umbrage with you saying that's why I don't say things certain times. Or let the woman hit me up and then I'll basically look to give her that particular information I'm gatekeeping from this space.
Do you know what it is? I believe what I'm saying to you. I'm not trying to be difficult. I know what you're saying. I don't shake your head, man. I know what you're saying, Brent. But I could be wrong. I also believe that the person who wrote that in, by me saying what I'm saying to her, as in to message me, I think she understands why I'm saying that. Because even herself probably would have thought certain things at certain times, like, yo, am I like delving into the realm of cult and witchcraft? And like, is my salvation at risk here? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Amplify the message, because if it is, she isn't, more people need to know about it, Emmanuel. It can't just be a Christian lens that people are hearing from me. Do you understand that?
But do you think that's what the case is?
But this is how it's coming across. That's what I'm saying. When you're saying what you're saying, just understand how I'm taking it. You're implying that this truth should be gatekept to only the people that look to hit you up in the DMs.
No, but you have to understand something. Remember, this is not an anti-Christian thing, you know.
Forget about anti-Christian. Why did you say that?
No, because you said it's like the only thing people hear is through a Christian lens. You
Me, because I'm talking about myself.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm not afraid to basically speak about my faith. I'm not afraid to basically share what I believe is the truth. And that's why I've surrounded myself with people who believe in other things, so that different people who are listening can feel as though they're just not getting bum rushed by Christianity.
All right. I've taken it on board. I have. I'm not being silly. I've taken it on board. There was something I wanted to say quickly.
Go on.
I'm trying to find the comment though. I can't remember now. I can't remember. Sorry, guys. I can't remember. But Finance basically responded about why Wes is a liar. He said he exaggerates points in his field that makes him... Oh, okay. He exaggerates points and in his field that makes him a liar, in my opinion.
100%.
Okay.
If it is that 100% based on what Finance said, okay, yes. Cool. If it is that he's set the criteria for what a lie is, he did lie.
Okay, cool.
100%.
But do you feel like he exaggerates certain things?
He did. He did.
But my answer to that is human beings do this because they really, you know what I'm saying?
No. But wind it back a bit.
Talk to me.
He came into it accusing the next guy of lying.
Billy.
He came into it accusing him of lying. Yeah. So by that same metric, sir, you should be judged, sir.
True.
100%.
Yeah, I hear you. I think Black Rob was even saying here, he explained, I believe he's saying that Isaiah scroll bit was the only part. That was a misstep. I didn't see anything else.
Misstep. You see? Nah, I think that's disingenuous. for there to be so much weight on you calling another person a liar, for you now to say that this thing that he has done, which is the same in certain circles, 100%, you should also call him a liar.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it
that's
should teach you not to go around brandishing this particular word if it is that you go and practice the same thing. Be held by the same type of criteria, my friend. I'm sorry.
Big up Danny Green, man. He said, and yeah, this is true. He just put I don't want to. Anyway, we're wrapping up now. Anyway, but
You're
he
not
says,
talking to anybody.
He says,
Don't
no,
worry.
because of
Whoever's
time.
here
innit?
wants to
Because
stay here.
because of
Say what
time.
Danny Green said.
But he said one belief system that somehow have is that Yahweh is a small, at least was a smaller God and a son of El Elyon.
So now Yahweh is the son of El.
El Elyon.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah. Thank you for that. That shot there, not shot, but you know what I'm saying. That piece of information there, Danny Green. Big up Danny Green every time.
Yeah. Don't believe what he said.
Fighter Spirit said Billy did lie. Yeah, they both lied though, innit?
Yes, they both lie.
They're both lying.
Liars.
Yeah, man. Oh, human beings, man. But yeah. I think that's it, Brent.
Yes.
Have a great weekend, people.
And send in your topic of the days. There's Discord,
exactly.
there's the Instagram, there's the email. Please send in options for us to choose from.
Yeah, man. At me in the Discord or Instagram. I think Instagram is better for me, people. Because I don't see people's DMs, you know. Big up DCF Mux. He messaged me and I didn't see it for like a month or something.
It's because it was in the part where it's you have to accept it before you can see proper.
I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, yeah. Have a great weekend, people. Stay blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Later.
Peace.